Why don't you be right on the mic?
You're good.
Well, we're good? All right, we're good. That's where you're going to rest the whole night?
I'm muted.
I know. And I'm just saying you're happy with that.
You
moved it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it takes us. We're
he's
lagged.
over the
We're a second or two behind you. Hi, I'm Tanner Hall from Left Right Cab. We've kind of gone for like a week, 2 weeks.
A couple weeks. Yeah.
This is the first one of 2021.
It
actually.
is.
Yep.
It is. We are done with that hellish year that was 2020.
Joke's on you. This is 2020 remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
end.
have you-
This is
have you
the
been
end
paying-
credit scene for 2020.
Yeah, have you not paid attention the last 2 weeks?
Is it the after credit scene?
So last week we had a bit of a family tragedy, so that's part of the reason we
Yes.
didn't do it last week.
Yes, we are sorry to hear about
And
that.
then before that, we had New Year's and all that stuff. So
But we're back with a brand new year. Tons of drama and things to talk about. The Capitol was stormed. Lots of things happened. But anyways, I'm Tanner Hall. This is Left Right Cab, a debate show that is not really a debate show, more like a conversation where we discuss politics, philosophy, history, pop culture, anything that really our hearts desire. We do it all while drinking wine and acting very pompous about it. With me is Travis Pajoli and Jake Rudder. Down in Northern Square. We have a special guest tonight because we couldn't get Ben Shapiro. We got the next best thing.
Oh, great.
Just so you know, it's his first time here. Or maybe you've even seen any of the episodes, but
So the first one.
every episode we say sorry to the fans that we couldn't get
Yeah,
Ben. Ben
Ben
canceled
Shapiro
on
canceled.
us. Ben canceled. Something came up. He couldn't come to. So we kind of
It turns out that his wife's pussy was wet once, and like it just
he could not pass that opportunity up. He had to stay home.
and make sure she was safe. And
he slipped on it. He slipped on it and fell into his sleeping couch. You know.
Yeah.
But we're here with our
Actually,
good
that
friend,
was the kinetic Beffner. That's why he just got his hip replaced.
Michael Chartier. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
We're gonna be hanging out, drinking wine, eating pizza, and talking big brain stuff with us.
Yeah.
We'll see. My brain's not as big as some.
I don't want to knock all this shit over. We're in a new room. If you look at all our past episodes, we're in a different room, and we had a parlor bar stand in front of us, and now we have a nice, comfy couch.
Parlor.
Is that a parlor?
Parlor. Another topic of.
Oh yes, that's true. Parlor got canceled by like literally
Sure.
everyone.
Every single.
Yeah.
I just want to show.
Amazon
The
took it
weaponry.
off the internet.
Yeah. No, I guess I'm not here anymore.
I'm just showing off the weaponry behind. We're
Oh,
ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ready for
yeah.
gladiatorial combat later on if
We-
need be.
We'll
Somewhat.
make this room nice and cool. I think Joe Rogan's podcast started real shitty in decor too, and then eventually.
Truth be told, I think this is a step down decor-wise.
From where we were before.
Yeah, you had
Where
cool
before?
Spider-Man posters, and you had like.
Yeah, so that's the
Stuff.
first iteration of the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Now we have the casting couch, so.
Probably equally as
Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, right in the middle.
You ever done something like this
It
before?
did feel well loved.
If you had a black light, it would be a Jackson Pollock film here.
No. Well, you know what you gotta do if you want to get a consistent role here.
This is the audition.
I don't have to do butt stuff or anything, right?
What kind of show do you think this is?
Of course.
Excuse me
best
while I
of
eat
shows.
pizza on camera. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything all night.
All right.
So I'm just gonna gorge my face while we drink wine and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, wine. You, Jake, lead it in. You
All
picked
right.
it this week.
So I went to our local little Elm Street and found a fucking wine with a horse on it. And I was like, that's awesome. When I read the back, it sounded pretty good. It's from 2017, another Columbia Valley one.
12 hands are just not enough.
The name 14 hands.
Gotta
Yep.
catch all of them.
Was this me?
Bold
you didn't drink it,
characters.
did you?
No.
Okay, good. Can't drink it.
It's got bold characters of blackcurrant, dark cherry, and espresso with hints of spice.
So to our fans, we call these Jake and Travis beers, or
Yes,
wines, whatever. Jake
Yeah.
and Travis wines, and not my wines.
Not sweet.
Not sweet, because it has espresso in it. I'm already.
Perfect.
Well,
Love
also
it.
I fucking love coffee.
blackcurrant
Mm-hmm.
tarts. I'm looking for it.
All right.
Well, I can
All
smell it. better.
Cheers, gentlemen, to
Let's watch it.
2021. Let's hope it's not as chaotic of a year, and we don't have a lot of interesting things to talk about because
Yeah.
I just want a smooth year, guys.
Nice, easy year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of a Tanner wine.
It's not as bad as I thought.
It's sweeter than I would normally
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
Correct.
Same.
It's
So you're on our side of it then.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm.
actually appreciate it, wine.
I would
Excellent.
rather do Merlot, like the driest
Oh,
wines ever.
so that's the thing. I don't like
Just-
that cotton mouth feeling at the end of it. You know.
Yeah, so
So you know you're doing it right.
typically the, like, as Tanner mentioned, we're always buying different cabs.
Mhm.
I think only once we had like a cab blend.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Yeah, usually it's that like very full mouth feel, full body, like
Thicker, not so
peppery,
watery
chocolatey,
down.
not so watery.
Right.
I wouldn't call this watery, but it's
It's thin. It's definitely thin.
Yeah.
It's got really no finish, and that's where my problem with it is.
Yeah, the moment it goes down my throat, I don't remember that I had wine in my mouth.
Mm.
There's no real after
Trying to
flavor.
swish that around, man. Get it all up in there.
The flavor it does have,
It
I
burns
do
my
like.
gums and the gingivitis, the alcohol.
The flavor it does have, I do like. It's just very thin. It has a hint of tartness that I would like if it were more present in the body of it.
Truth be told, I would expect this out of a jug.
Or box.
Yeah, I could see
Or a
that.
box.
Box wine.
I could
Not
see
to
that.
say, not to say that I dislike box wine.
Yeah.
I love Boda Box.
I would take.
Is
I would
it
take-
true? Can I ask a question to the
I would
wine
take. I would
connoisseur?
take Bodo Box over at least 2 bottles that we've had. So
Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two bottles.
I won't say
One
that
of them we
both
can
of
guess.
them. I will say yes, but not both of them are tenors.
So
that-
one is mine, the Walking Dead Cabernet. I brought that.
Oh, come on.
It was for the Halloween episode. We had
Okay.
it was themed.
I really don't like sweet wines at all. So
Yeah.
the other one too, the Reserve Gold.
Over longevity?
No, longevity is the one that I'm just like.
It wasn't on. That wasn't on though.
That may have been just a bad wine
It was a bad-
for round 2.
Yeah.
That
If
That
we
is
drink all the wine
occupying-
quickly, we crack a second bottle, and we do like it does a little cameo.
Yeah, and typically that second bottle is always worse.
until it's Three Finger Jack.
Until it's a surprise.
It's either the best wine we've ever had on the podcast, or it's the worst one.
Well,
No in between.
I've been on a
It's
Cabernet
100 or
kick.
0.
I've been on a Cabernet kick lately, just because that's all I've been drinking is wine.
Well, great. Every Thursday we have a podcast where we drink cab.
Well,
Different cabs.
Okay, so if you invite me back, I'll bring my wine.
Depends on if you change your position on butt stuff.
I'm open to it, just not with dudes.
So Travis. Oh wait, we don't do price first. We do taste. 1 to 10. What do you rate it?
5.
I give it like a 6. 5.56.
I like 6. I'm comfortable at 6.
Like
I understand. I know I like it for my taste buds, but I
What was
understand.
the question you were asked about? I think it was spun off box wine, and then you're like, I have a question.
Oh,
for you.
question for the wine connoisseurs on that. Is it true that box wine drinkers of wine tend to get headaches more, or they get hungover from box
Sulfites.
wine more?
Sulfites and impurities in it. Yeah.
yeah, that's not because of the box though.
No, it's not the box. It's,
It's the quality of the wine in the box.
Yeah.
Okay. So people
also
say-
on top of it.
I've had people say I can't drink box wine because I get a headache.
So typically, people who say that oftentimes they never had like, I don't want to say good wine, but to them box wine is transient.
I mean,
And
try
that is
Carlo
a no-
Rossi, and you probably get a headache too there. Cause it's,
for sure.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind when you're buying, like when you buy a box of wine, you are buying 3 liters of wine.
this is true too.
Quantity, not
So
quality.
it's the amount that they're getting.
But he's saying also the amount might also contribute to said headache too, because like you get a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
It's finite.
Yeah.
The box just keeps it never
Yeah.
runs
It-
dry.
It never runs dry until it does, and then you're like, oh, this was 4 bottles of wine
that I just drank.
that I just drank in an evening.
Yeah.
Like something's clearly wrong with me.
I'm
The
an
episode you
alcoholic.
need to come.
Honestly-
Episode you need to come back for is we have a guy that is a fromagier.
Oh yeah.
And does cheese events and sets them up and does cheese tastings, and we're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have him come in and we're gonna pair wines with cheese, and we're gonna.
Jim, that's another call out for you. We gotta get you on here and do some cheese wine and
Yes,
stuff.
please. I want to do that really bad.
Jim's great. You'll like him a lot. You'll like him a lot.
You know.
Excellent.
But yeah, so typically with box wines, you have a lot of like they're more sulfites, just preservatives en masse. Because one of the other things of why people buy box wine is they're like, oh, I don't want to just open a bottle and drink it in like a day. I want to just have this sit in my fridge and I'm going to drink it over the span of a week. And like, while due to the container of the bat, like the means in which it is stored, you know, it's a sealed bag. When you drink it, the volume, like no air is getting into it. Nothing's aerated. It isn't oxidizing. So in order to keep that tasting the exact same 2 weeks later, you do add like preservatives and other things. And commonly with a lot of sort of like bougie, like local vineyards, regardless of where you are, they're all say like nitrate free, sulfite free. and that's what gives people headaches more often than not.
So you
it's
gave it a
preservatives.
5?
Yeah.
6. I give it a 6. And even though I
Oh,
would
sure.
normally
What-
rate,
what
I
are
would
you
normally
gonna
rate
give
it
this?
higher, but you've given me context to know what good wine is and bad wine is.
I think
I would
one
give
thing,
it a 4.
Wow, that's low. That's the lowest score we ever had here.
Really?
No.
No, the Walking Dead one was.
Walking Dead was
universally-
3s and
Yeah.
True.
I mean, that's also my preferences. I love the dry wines.
Right.
My
What was
sister,
our
my
driest
sister
one,
drinks
actually?
barefoot
The driest
by the
one?
what was our
gallon.
driest one? If you would go back on our
Gravel
episodes, you'll find
Gravel
out.
bar.
Gravel bar.
Yeah.
Gravel, yeah. It was just like
The
drinking
sand, it was
it was
great.
cotton, just straight.
I loved it.
Mm.
Eli Whitney just grinding that cotton gin right in your mouth.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, like,
It's crazy how
It-
much
it
you
had
like
such a
Theodore
good
Jack
mouth.
because Theodore Jack does have a bit of dryness to
It
it.
does, but there's something about it that's rich and it's
tobacco,
re-
chocolate, and raspberries.
it's really good.
It is so good.
Sponsor us, Three Finger Jack.
Yeah, truly.
We should honestly reach out to him. I bet
Like,
Why
hey, if
is-
you watch
why
all
is
of our
this
episodes,
fine?
all we do is talk about
we
your
need
wine.
someone to proselytize
Three
for us.
Finger Jack, Gravel Bar, if you like sort of like those drier,
Mhm.
like full body, it feels like you're drinking a sock, like that stuff.
Great. Love it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Gravel Bar is up there. Like,
Now Travis has to exclude himself from the price game because he has
Yes.
purchased this wine in the past.
Guess first.
Oh, really?
I would. Oh, guess first, of course. Yeah.
We're gonna do prices right rules.
I'm gonna go with $12.99.
I was around there. I'll say. Nah. I know I'm gonna be over. $14.99.
you were not over.
He's excluded. He's bought the book.
What is it?
So when I got it, it was for $14.99.
It was $14.99.
I think it's our first Exactsies.
It's the first one.
Yeah.
First.
And so many episodes.
Like, truth be told, I bought it like a week ago. I think also.
Oh, so it's finally aged now.
No. This is Jake got it earlier for it, but usually
It's not horrible. It's just
Guys, you can help yourself to pizza here too, by the way. Guys.
it's not one I
it's
will.
literally just a pizza like a second.
You can have more.
It's not one I will remember. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So it's a wine that's like
Hold on.
if you are a daily red wine drinker and you don't want that box wine life,
Yeah.
It's the next
this
step
is
up.
something that
Yes.
you would get.
This could fall into your rotation.
To be fair,
Yeah.
in our downstairs we have along the wall all the wines that we drink
Yes,
in
I
order
should
from our
move them
episodes.
up
We
here.
need to move them up here
Okay.
I do.
and add 14 hands.
I do want like a little bar. We gotta make that happen somehow. Can't be that hard.
My house is just made of bars.
Just wood laid out in different.
There is a bar in the basement,
Well.
alright too. So
Just got a bunch of power tools for Christmas. I could make you a bar.
yeah.
I made the other bar.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh, so first topic of 2021 is in the hands of Travis.
Indeed. And
To be fair, I think we ended 2020 on memes. That was our topic.
We did.
Yeah, that was the last topic we talked.
yeah,
It was a nice Christmas present.
this is not that.
This is not memes. This is a little more serious than memes, I guess.
Somewhat. It's
When-
kind of there's a decent amount of me lecturing.
When did we
about-
play Hot Ones? That was that.
It was Christmas.
That was the same one, right?
Yeah, it was memes. Then we did the truth or dab.
Should have that's right.
Yeah.
Got that for Christmas.
Yeah.
Which was very widely. People were
We-
a fan of it.
Travis and I ruined the game.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because they liked the flavor of it. It didn't hurt them. We saw it. We need to get the
Yeah.
bomb.
Yeah.
No, we had to get the bomb
the
from the
last
shop.
the last dab was delicious.
Travis and I just kept dipping nuggets in it, and Jared's like, "This what's even the point of this fucking game?"
It's supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be a
think-
punishment. So the bomb is the one I'll bring it from the shop and we'll play again. And we'll really punish ourselves.
The bomb is really just pain. There's no flavor to it. It's just. How about
Is
we just
battery
take
acid a
these-
flavor?
It's
I mean,
that.
people do that in Russia. They inject it into themselves. Call it crocodile.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it turns their skin into scales.
That's
it
awesome.
it goes through
Some-
necrosis and stuff.
Seriously.
Some Game of Thrones shit right there.
Right?
But they do it through
At
fun.
grayscale?
Yeah.
Very similar, actually. But yeah, so topic for me. Someone much smarter than myself once asked me if I had ever heard of a Greek concept called kick loose.
Oh,
I
thank
asked
you.
him this last week.
Does it say
Yeah.
No, it was neither of it. And at first I was like, yeah, it's like the Greek concept of government. And turns out there's a lot more to it than just that. So did some research into it. And I also know that, like, Jake, when was the last time you took a civics course?
Oh, high school, obviously.
High school.
I mean,
Probably college at some point took one.
College?
For
Sure.
10th grade.
I mean, so any civics course or any general civics course?
Specifically, like a general civics course.
Mike went
or
to
more-
a tech school, so
Well, high school is my last general
was a
civics
very
course. I definitely took a course in college that was like related to civics, but wasn't a civics course.
Okay, so I took civics in high school as well.
Yeah.
And I found out from my nephew that civics isn't being taught like anymore, which I think
is it even being called social studies?
No, not even.
Really?
Wow.
He was saying that he had like world history, Euro history, American history, and like that was it. And I was like, oh, that's so wild. I was like, so you take no courses on like government or like, do you know why you pay taxes? Do you know like any of these things? And admittedly, he's like a 14-year-old, so he like barely pays attention to anything. But he's got a mean Pokemon Go list, so he's got his priorities in mind.
For a 14-year-old, yeah.
Yeah. Now, kind of going back to it, Kyklios is ultimately the cycle of governments in a society, like a high-level view. And it isn't so much that one government is better than another. It is really just how all governments change over time based off of their design. So America is a good example of it as well. But like if you look at the Roman Empire, the rise and fall of Rome, even the British Empire moves forward. It goes through a cycle of like an oligarchy, an autocracy, true like eventually tyranny, democracy, and then sort of like a mob rule cycle. And that each of the three sort of ideal forms, your actually I have to write down each ones that are there, but each ideal form is bastardized over time solely because of how it is designed. And the bastardization of it is actually like what is bad, what's kind of like the alternate option for it. But there's certain things that could be done to prevent it from sort of happening. Whether or not those are viable, if they're not, who knows, who cares for it. But solely because all legal systems and all legislatures, all forms of government allow for change. Every single one of them. Even tyranny, like true autocracies moving into tyranny, still invites room for change. By the actions of a leader seeking ultimate power, there will always be opposed. Democracy.
The change does not always come from the people.
Yeah, exactly. But change is inevitable in the structure that's there. The only way to really stop the cycle of governments changing is to prevent any mechanism of change. Again, dissent will happen. You can't change them. The Greeks thought that the best way to remove it is that if any group or individual received too much power or influence in one point, rather than actually have them influence the system of government, the people that are there, the polis, they would be removed from it. So either jail, murder, or exile.
A2 Brute.
Now, the general sort of cycle that's there, as I mentioned before, is explained as the three core forms: your democracy, aristocracy, and monarchy. And then the degenerate forms of these being archaeocracy, which is the mob rule, like people just, it is democracy turned to 1,000. Oligarchy, which is the degenerate form of aristocracy. That's you have people who are not qualified to lead, but feel entitled to lead, unlike the aristocracy.
You hear that term used a lot in
Russia.
Or I would say even in current American protesters. I've heard that term dropped a lot. I heard that term dropped a lot at Occupy Wall Street.
Yes.
We're living in an oligarchy.
Yes. And
Would you agree with that statement?
No.
By book, I would disagree.
by the book definition of it, no, because oligarchies are like, in a textbook form, like guilds running things, or like the church and all of the various branches.
Unions.
Noble families.
Unions could be considered
Unions as well would be viewed as an oligarchical form of government.
structure. Yeah.
Do you think? I don't mean to get you off the topic, and I just have a question. I just don't want to lose it. Do you think it's healthy for people to use these terms of ideologies to describe people when use it so liberally?
So calling all Republicans fascists.
To call Trump a fascist, he is not Mussolini. To call Bernie Sanders a socialist or AOC a socialist, they are not, the worst of the worst socialists that have lived on this earth. and also calling our current system oligarch. And I don't think Trump is a fascist by definition. I don't think AOC and Bernie are socialist in terms of the dangerous term. You know, is it healthy? Is it right? Is it good? Should you speak out against it when someone says that? Say no, actually you're wrong, and it's dangerous for you to say that because it waters down the term. If I call everyone's a racist, the term racist doesn't have any power. To be called a racist should be very bad.
Humorously,
and
though, I thought words have no power.
Well, I want to go back to what you're talking about with oligarchies too, right? Like you're right. I do think it's a misrepresentation, but I think most people, what we really are is like a corporatocracy, right?
So that would still fall in line with the oligarchy.
So it's a type of oligarchy, exactly. But like oligarch doesn't really represent the concept properly. I feel like.
So I'm going to give one quick.
Because like real oligarchy.
I'm just saying we would be in a lot more shit if this was a real oligarchy. We'd
No,
be in
we
a lot
wouldn't.
more
But
shit. In general,
this
if
is
we
the
were
issue
really
that's
ruled by
here.
fascists.
So okay, this is where the issue kind of lies. Fascism would be ultimately an ideology, which is a form of autocracy and a monarchy or tyrannous government.
But fascism as an ideology is separate from your system of government.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? How
In
you
the same,
administer.
in the same way that communism and socialism are not synonymous.
Right.
So when you have an oligarchy, and I do think that we currently live in a non-standard form of one, sure, because we do live in a corporate democracy. So right now,
It's a very corporate democracy for sure.
something that I've always found comedic, one of the headlines here, last week Elon Musk was the richest man in the world.
Correct.
He is now no longer. He lost $12 billion in the span of 2 days due to nothing. Just the rising and fall of stock prices.
Yeah. I got Tesla stock. I know. I see.
Same. But so it's something that I've always kind of chuckled with. That you have these sort of tech giants, these tech magnates, who arguably, I don't know if you saw the big tech hearings last year that the House put on and the Senate did, and effectively you had
These were
Mark
not
Zuckerberg
drinking
tell you
water.
not those ones. This is when he
not
came back and effectively told them to go fuck themselves. And Jack Dorsey from Twitter said,
You're right.
try me. You have these tech CEOs who truly act and are, for all intents and purposes, bigger than government. We've seen in this past week, Trump has been banned from almost all social media.
And he had a outburst after he got off Air Force One saying that the tech giants are ruining the world. Which
Is there validity to his statement?
I don't think they're ruining it, because even Jack Dorsey was like, he should have been banned, but this sets a bad precedent.
A bad
President.
Wow, that's our show.
Yeah, good night, guys. Hey, we'll end it on a high note.
Yeah.
I got to rename the broadcast. So what would you, if you were to concise your topic down to a word, what would you say it is?
Gay rights.
I already did that one.
Cough. Now, I mean, truthfully,
Ocracies?
kick loose. Because then it's just all of the.
But if someone's scrolling through the YouTube page and they're gonna be like, "What topics am I interested in?"
What the fuck
I've never
is
heard of that
kick loose?
word.
Maybe people would actually go and search and be like, "Shit."
Isn't that the
This is
isn't that the
weird.
company that prints out photos?
That would be Kinkas.
What do you think?
Just government.
So to go back to the
Types of government?
But
Types of government. That's
Sure.
good.
to go back to the comment about corporatocracy,
Yeah.
which is essentially corporations are feeling that they are entitled to lead the government.
So it isn't right now. I don't think we're in a position where you have companies creating their own city states.
No, it's a shadow corporatocracy.
Hey,
Right.
It's not even a shadow
Right.
one, because they're very public about donating funds and
Hey,
stuff.
you ever been to
Right,
Silicon
but-
Valley?
But if you
But
look,
it's
if you look at how
puppet corporatocracy.
if
right?
you
Yes.
look at how social media is using the population of different nations to swing elections,
Sure.
they are controlling more than they want to admit or think. So they are leading in some form or fashion.
Do you
So,
think
I don't
that
know.
we? Okay,
To kind of present another piece to that.
That's always kind of been the case, though. I
Yeah.
mean,
Of course.
So
What's-
we've
what-
talked about it on prior podcasts as well.
Okay.
The role of social media, and is it truly a public forum where people can discuss free thought? or is it just a service that you pay, or are in turn your data being sold? So you are, I guess, being the commodity that's being sold.
We also
are they being used to sway elections? Are this information just sort of being aggregated around? It doesn't matter. Like, you have these organizations which present themselves as serving the public good, but when it comes down to it, when some degree of accountability comes in, they say, no, this is a free market. This is a service that you are paying for, either through you're allowing your data to be
Right.
to
There's
be
some
sold.
cost.
There is some cost to it. If you're not
you can
buying
expand
something,
with
you're being
advertisements, something.
Yeah.
Right, but look at what happened with Parler. Parler tried to
Yeah.
just let the doors open. Leave
We
the doors open, and they were like, "Yeah, you can say whatever you want, not a problem." And that's what caused the whole uprising at the Capitol last week.
we
Yeah,
hypothesized.
that you
on
can
this-
say whatever you want thing was like directed at a specific populace, though. You know, too.
Exactly.
We hypothesized on one of the shows that
Like,
we talked
I guess
about
liberals
this.
aren't worried about having a place to say whatever they want.
And
That's the difference, right?
I asked the question: could there be a site? They brought up Parler. I had never actually heard of it. Could there be a site where it is very wild, wild west, super lax, no rules? And we kind of discovered when sites do this, they tend to become havens for like child porn and really fucked up shit.
Yeah, because we talked
And-
about like B and just 4chan.
Like if
4chan
it,
generally,
4chan,
yeah.
like if it's just open to anything and no regulation.
Early
filter,
Reddit.
like it just the bottom of the barrel cesspool of people end up going there and gravitating there.
Well, they go to the next website once it opens up. You know, like it's the same group of people. Like the people who were like the trash people on Reddit, who were the trash people on 4chan, who were the trash people on Parler. They're all the same fucking people.
Right.
Maybe it's spread a little bit, but
So, because my question is there a place? I'm going to look at this as a market question.
So you need this free market of ideas.
A little bit. Is there a hole in the market that people are demanding? Parler, I guess, would try to be it, but where it is back to the basics of bare bones. For example, when we first all signed up for MySpace back in high school, it was bare bones. It was a profile, and I had some of my pictures. I had my lights on it.
You could actually go
Eight
and
best
write
friends.
your own HTML code in
Yep.
to do your fucking.
you could.
You could-
You would get
You don't even
banned.
need to write HTML.
You would've got
code.
banned.
Drag and drop now.
You would get banned for porn
Jesus,
now.
fucking-
No
Yeah,
porn.
you
No
do
porn.
that.
I'm talking. You got to play your. I remember putting my favorite song when you opened my profile.
Sure,
my favorite
sure.
song would play. That's basic bare bones social media, and people can contact me through it. And it wasn't so gross like Facebook with advertisements and
I mean, do you remember
memes
early
everywhere.
Facebook?
Yeah,
it was
I was
it was
one of-
also
It was
Reddit.
it was
College
college. It was college kids that you had to have a college email, and it was meant to exchange professor
But you
information.
couldn't have your Marilyn Manson theme though.
And we all know it's 5-finger death punch.
Yeah.
But is something like
State
that? Do you
law.
think the market needs something like
Hey,
that?
That's a great. I've never heard that phrase before. I'm going to steal it.
What do you say?
Right now, I
Red
call it
State
army
Rock.
rock.
Red State Rock.
But like,
That's really true. That's really
that is very
accurate.
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shit, you hear it like Bama fucking tailgates.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Is there a place in the market right now for a site like that could just say like, hey, we're like MySpace 1.0, and this is all we are, and this is all we'll
But
ever be.
they still ban people for speed.
I understand,
stuff,
I understand, but like it was like not so
So
bought,
you think-
So you're thinking
bought off. It wasn't so like
so,
advertisements every 5 seconds. You
Is-
scroll
is-
Facebook.
No,
Is
I,
there a
I, I'll
problem-
tell you right now, no.
You
is
don't
there a
think
problem
there's
with-
a need that people would want to go back to that?
I think the problem partially is that the,
People
internet,
like
the scale
convenience.
of the internet is too big now, right? So community like the percentage of people who are using it actively is so much larger. So like the impact of anything that you do is much larger too, right? Like, you know, when MySpace came out, the percentage of people who were using the internet every day,
We're using AOL online
Yeah.
discs.
yeah, exactly.
It would run into their CD.
Sure, exactly.
Stole
So
50
it's like
of them from a grocery store once.
so
There
like
you
I would say the percentage of people that
You know,
might-
there's still. I did this for a trivia night. There's 15 million people still using AOL dial-up in this country.
but the percentage of
That's
people
in the U.S. alone.
it's US alone, yeah. But the percentage of people using MySpace
Yes, in this country.
was very
Yeah,
small.
but I'm saying like it's probably larger.
And it was the biggest website. You know, it was the most popular website on the internet at one point, and it was still pretty small compared to the percentage of people in the world. Nowadays, you release something that is the biggest thing on the internet, and it's going to have a huge impact because it touches so many more people. you
Like
know?
who uses Ask Jeeves anymore? No one.
Nobody.
No one.
How many people used?
It's not even Ask
Microsoft
Jeeves
Edge?
anymore. It's Ask.com.
It's ask.com, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Not
wanted
to
to
be confused with-
break the image of indentured servitude.
Not to be confused with ask.com.
Sure.
Man, can you imagine if like Jeeves was not a white guy. You know, but the PC culture would have just like lit that website.
We are at 5 people. Madeline.
Hey, 5 people.
Madeline joined the viewership.
That's not fair. How dare you not count him?
Number 6.
Thank you.
All right, we have it off screen.
we have a live audience.
Antonio is over here. Get a little peek of him. Hey, Antonio, how's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, you have to hold on. The cameras can't see him. You have to have been told
Now
you
you
look
can.
like someone, right? A celebrity.
It's a lottery?
Yes.
He's on camera now.
You are on
I'm
camera.
on camera. Yeah.
You are. Do you know who? Okay. Do you know who he looks like?
I have no fucking idea.
I think he looks so much like David Cross.
No.
What?
Wow.
No.
No.
So-
I
No,
don't
David
see
Cross
it
is the guy from fucking.
Oh, David Cross. Sorry, David Cross.
Yeah,
Arrested
Arrested
Development.
David Cross is Arrested
I think
Development.
he looks
Antonio,
like
could you paint yourself in blue? And just
In blue? In blue would help.
Yeah.
David Cross.
I think I blew one.
He's also the voice of the anthropologist in Archer.
You got too much hair. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Dude, I think he does. Like, I mean, yeah, not the piercings in the hip, but like,
I don't see it at all.
really?
Nah.
No. Where's my laptop?
No.
Where's my
Like,
laptop?
Hold on. I'll pull, on stream. I'm gonna pull up David
We're gonna
Cross.
find a
Alright,
good picture.
so-
Cross. But
Madeline says no. You look nothing like David Cross.
Thank you. Yeah.
A younger
I
one.
can't visualize David Cross, so I don't know.
You're telling me, right? That he doesn't have a similar appeal to David
No.
Cross, fucking Men in Black, younger, not like old, now he's old with like a long ass white gray beard.
I don't see it.
You
Dab.
look at hey, you know on the.
You have facial hair. That is
I think it's Men.
You have facial
don't
hair
hair
and glasses.
glasses.
I got a complexion.
Spitting
so,
image.
You know.
Don't worry, Tanner.
I'm trying to find.
So-
As Tanner often is, he's raw here as well. It's
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, to kind of circle back though. So, Greek philosophy, moving through various cycles of government, and how every base will be reach a degenerate form before.
Find a
moving
good
to
one,
another.
not like one that's
Okay.
way off and not gonna match.
This continued on to like
We
the
find the
Renaissance
most
era,
obvious one.
and like you had Machiavelli writing about it as well, and he's like, you know what? It's not a cycle. It's kind of just like an amorphous pool that one form of
I think
government
this is a good one.
will reach a degenerate form, and then it will move to one of the two
Okay.
other forms.
Okay.
It's like whereas all the groups were like, it always will go democracy into
He has some glasses.
an
I got something with
aristocracy
glasses, alright?
into
What do you want?
tyranny, back to democracy.
What am I wearing?
They were saying it's always going to cycle that way. Machiavelli was like, no, it can actually go back and forth. There were a lot of them, but it will always stay within these.
Okay, so there will be eventual, like, it will
Right,
peak
exactly.
at some point, and then they'll just cycle between.
I don't see
Something bad will happen.
Yeah, I don't
It
see
will
it.
change into one of the other forms, and that will continue until it reaches
Yeah.
a degenerate.
On the
doing side by
left
side.
side, you don't think?
No, we're not doing that one.
No.
We're doing the one
We
for
are-
it. Come in closer.
We're sidetracked.
Yeah, we are dead set on.
Sorry, the topic is.
No, that doesn't really. No, that's like gray beard. No, it's older.
Okay, actually,
There's
I'm
nothing
gonna
there.
take it back. I can't see it.
It's.
I've actually.
I got too much hair, man. It doesn't
No,
You
work.
it's
did-
not
you
the
did-
hair. It's just it's more this part of the face. And it's,
Antonio has a longer face, for sure. Than I know you wanted to be objectified like this today, so.
we're
Yeah,
discussing
well,
very
yeah.
serious topics here, and I'm
That's
I'm
fine.
just derailing
That's like
everything.
serious.
I'm so sorry.
I give you like 2 points towards like I'm like still
2.5
Out of
David
3?
Crosses.
Out of 3? All right.
no out of like 50, but
I'll get the hell out of here.
it's not unfounded. I see where you're gonna get that.
All right. Well, to the initial piece at hand, one of the major kind of elements here that, as I explained very nicely to Chartier, that you guys just didn't even care
I'm
about.
so
listening.
sorry. I apologize. We probably caught none of that on mic. Because
Probably
we're all
not. It was
talking
real
over.
bad.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Sorry about that. That's my fault.
Sometimes you gotta talk about David
So you gotta
Cross.
close your David Cross tab, and then you
I
gotta
did.
listen.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm making him my background on my laptop now.
All right.
All right. So
Oligarchies.
not just oligarchies, but how these three systems will then kind of move into degenerate forms and then be supplanted by one of the other forms.
Mhm.
Machiavelli said, you know, fuck this, it's not a cycle, it's not going to go one into the next to the next. It's going to go into one into either of the remaining two, and then that will continue, it'll reach a degenerate form, and then it'll go back to one of the remaining two. So in the Greek setup, a democracy in turn moves towards not an aristocracy, but a monarchy, that you'll have one sort of like a primary leader who will rise up through the sort of mob rule of the degenerate democracy. They'll remain in power until they are overthrown by the oligarchs. And that in turn it'll move into a more base form of democracy, so on.
I'll take
Now, one of the major pieces to this, though, and it's kind of like the crux of the quiz. So if I was going to go and summarize this, like, ancient Greek nonsense, something bad will always happen, and it will force this sort of split. And you'll always see that sort of collapse into the degenerate form. Rome, you saw it collapse its stuff. Even in the British Empire, you saw Magna Carta, the decline of the actual monarchy to give rise to the House of Commons. There was a little change. Over time, it will then overtake it. So,
Are you saying it's impossible to ever find a perfect system?
yes.
Okay.
Because there are multiple perfect systems. It isn't one. It's good for the time, and then it will be replaced by a better one for that time.
And then it will cycle
It
back.
will cycle back because all forms of government will always corrupt. Is
So-
the general course of this.
Do you think there's that sort of thing though, where governments are going to naturally fit into what is best for the time? You think that's-
Until it reaches a corrupt state, and then it will be replaced by something which will be better for that time.
So you think
Yes.
there's something about governance as
That is
a
inherently corrupt.
mechanism of governance that pushes it to that.
So you have things
Yes.
in pop culture, like Star Trek.
And again, one quick thing, because every system allows for change.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, going back to your original part of it. So that's actually your thesis right there.
Yes.
That's the crux of it.
Which brings me to sort of the initial kind of question to all of you guys for it.
Mm-hmm.
All governments are truly, at their core, mechanisms of change. We look at what has happened over the past 2 weeks. So for everyone who watches this who's been living under a rock or was in their 2-week COVID quarantine and just couldn't interact with anyone
And still didn't look at the internet.
and still didn't look
Bullshit.
at the internet, or in this position, we had President Trump had a rally during the Congress's certification of the Electoral College, and the results from it.
The vote had already been cast.
The vote had already been cast, everything had been there. The House of Representatives were debating the results on each, not really debating, there was never any valid amount to change or overturn the election. Trump speaks at a rally, questionably incites a call to action, and then all of the protesters, or not, I won't say all, I'm sure there's certainly good people on both sides.
Certainly
Actually,
not.
one of those sides are
They're all
Congress.
good. They're all good
there's no
people.
good people in Congress.
But yeah, it wasn't all.
It wasn't all, but many sort of quote unquote sieged the Capitol, broke into buildings. 5 people died.
2 policemen.
I'm going to have one
One.
policeman.
The other one's critically injured.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But so like this happens, and immediately because of it, articles of impeachment get drafted. Trump is, as of yesterday, became the first president ever to be impeached twice. Which is funny because in between both impeachments we had COVID, so like we had a pandemic sandwich between this whole thing. But throughout it, first ever president for it, and I have to wonder if
Now, this is just going to be able to prevent him from running in 4 years.
That's really the
no.
goal.
So fun thing with it is he can still run in 4 years under the exact setup that it is now. If he is convicted by the Senate,
That's what
he is
Yeah.
unable to run in 4 years.
And then he'll have been removed from office.
Yes.
Well, his term's
But
going to end
he's-
up anyway.
yeah,
his term's
here-
over. It's just to
here-
prevent 4 years down the road. He can't run
Yes.
again.
But that has to pass the Senate.
Yeah,
Correct.
or any other public office, not just the presidency.
Correct.
He couldn't
So
be
you
governor. He
become
couldn't
a
be
felon.
mayor. He couldn't be state congressman. He could be nothing.
You can actually become state congressman.
Is it just federal?
So
Yo,
I
Kennedy,
thought-
Kennedy left a chick in a car in the bottom of the ocean.
well, that was Ted Kennedy, and it was an accident.
Yeah, sure. Was it
Well,
enough to go home and chill and sleep on it for a bit before you were boarding it?
Well, I was talking about I said. Well, I thought it was public.
Have you ever been to
office.
Martha's Vineyard? The roads are dangerous.
I
Okay.
think the clause was public office, even if it's being issued at the federal level.
No, so Joe Ganim is a felon, and he
Felon's different, right? Felon's different.
No, so except in the interest or the instance of impeachment,
Yeah.
But right now, that's even still kind of up in the air if he'll be able to hold public office in other pieces, especially if
I
he's
mean,
leading
fuck
there.
Why Donald Trump will never settle for local office anyways.
No, I could see him run for
Governor of New
No,
York.
mayor of New York City.
No, fuck, he would never be elected.
No, he definitely wouldn't. But like, it's not like he's going to become mayor of fucking Mar-a-Lago.
No. you
But
might try to say state Mar-a-Lago next.
To go back into this though, so when we look in the past 2 weeks here, will this be? Because again, the National Intelligence Services have all come forward and said that they're credible at planned acts of violence at every single state capital over the next week, including the U.S. Capitol for it. So, will we look at this as a potential for that sort of shift? Is this the moment that we've reached a degenerate form of democracy and we're just going to move into something else? Or is it going to be just a footnote and that there is no silent majority of people who are all, Trump fans, that their votes were suppressed and, this election was stolen? Where do you guys see this going?
I was reading.
Is this the beginning of the end of democracy, or is it just a footnote in it?
It's not.
So I was reading the other day that
Democracy.
there was some talk online on some social media website that there was another plan to do this, to do something similar.
So the national intelligence agencies, so the FBI, NSA, CIA, all have briefed Congress that there are credible plans out there
Yeah.
to do this again during the inauguration and to engage in acts of violence at every single U.S. Capitol. They've been briefed. Governor Lamont in Connecticut gave a statement on it.
Here's a counter question. If the people feel their government is not representing them, would the founding fathers view these people in a positive light and say, yes, you should take up arms and disarm the tyrants? Because this is their
there is a fundamental flaw in your question.
their
True. Yeah. The people. Who are they?
Well, that percentage wise doesn't matter. There was still X amount of people that were loyalists back in the American Revolution. There was X amount of people that were considered the rebels.
Keep in mind the difference between a terrorist and a freedom fighter is if they win. If the American Revolution had failed, every founding father would have been strung up in towns across the country.
True, but there's a quote at the I don't know. Jake likes to tee this up a lot, but the opening quote in my book. He always goes, "Tim, you wrote a book." He didn't do it this time. The one time, all the shows.
Did you though?
I did. I wrote a couple, and so
Can I just say, and more importantly, Bruins won tonight, so.
Excellent. Cheers.
more important than my book. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Bees Nation.
Bruins winning is definitely more important than your book.
Anyways, opening line is
Change will come back in the second
all-
half of this in a Bruins.
all
jersey.
patriots have one thing in common: they are labeled traitors by tyrants.
Oh, yes.
As the opening
So-
line to my book, and so is it just because they're in power and they get to call the shots and they get to call them tyrants and terrorists and fascists because they have the power currently and they set the rules?
So
I'm not trying to say defending
Sure.
any of the white supremacy garbage that showed us. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here from the right. It's just what I do on this podcast. So I just want
to continue with it. It's funny that you refer to one as a patriot and the other as a tyrant, and how all tyrants will view patriots as treasonous. Certainly, all patriots by their actions are engaging in a form of sedition and
Thomas Jefferson said if there's a law that is unpatriotic,
it
is your patriotic duty to break that
repress
law.
Make that lie,
To continue through it, though, it is very easy to speak in ideals, and that's why I sort of wonder with these this very partisan sort of siege against the Capitol. If it was a bipartisan act, I would say, I could see this happening good, and I could see this being good.
I
it
can't
wasn't.
imagine
It was-
anything bipartisan in this country.
The second impeachment of Donald Trump was a bipartisan act.
No, I meant among the people.
Oh,
Among the people.
Stimulus.
The amount.
Stimulus Act.
in support of stimulus checks.
Yes, everyone's in support of
Everyone
free
wants
money.
money.
Free money.
But
That's
first
fine.
off, so this is something I'm surprised you're not in
public
support of.
health care is also majority supported, by the way.
Legalizing weed as well.
Yeah.
But to continuing through this though, stimulus checks isn't free money. It's your own money.
I
back to you.
understand.
Yes.
I'm using
figured
the term.
you'd be on board with
I'm using the term very brushstroke liberally.
Very liberally.
I would think I would rather, instead of just getting a stimulus check, repealing the income tax and just let me keep all my money that I earn.
For everybody.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually do what the stimulus check does, though.
No, what I'm saying is,
So
like,
they
Yeah,
check.
I'm saying instead of just getting a single payment. So what you're telling me is that you'd rather just get more of your money back all the time, almost as if
not more
it's-
money back all my time. I want to keep what I earn, and just get rid of the temporary income tax that was supposed to be temporary by FDR.
But
who
the
said it's just going to be a
but the
temporary
income
thing,
tax.
and then
So
just stuck around.
but
forever.
stimulus checks aren't targeting the same point, though. Stimulus checks are essentially a tax refund but they're targeted at lower income people, obviously, up to a certain income.
Correct. I understand
Yeah,
that.
once
I
again,
know.
I didn't get a second round one, and I won't. So
I did.
cool.
I'm going to for sure
Yeah, because you're married.
because I'm married.
I got mine the day one. Like the moment they said we're doing it, it like showed in my bank account.
Yeah, mine still hasn't, and every time I try to check the IRS's website for like, where's my money?
It was under. You're under.
If you have direct deposit, it goes in like.
You're definitely under.
It doesn't.
Mine.
It didn't for me, and every time I try to check the IRS one, they're like, we can't find it.
You're not eligible, or you can't find it.
They are
You're
like,
definitely eligible.
yeah, I got the first one.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Really?
I think it's
Another
because they
eligible.
used. I think it's because they used my 2019 taxes, which
Curtailment doesn't start till like 6 figures, though, right?
So here's a question.
about that. So in 2019, I was working for a company.
Your stock sellout.
And I was bought out of all.
Your
it was
stock
inside,
sellout. I
was
forgot
bought
about
out
that.
of all of the shares. That's how I was able to buy.
Right.
And he spent it all in Europe too.
Yeah, I spent it on a. I'm gonna go fuck around in Europe.
A Euro breakup trip, and then
something like that.
Wow, way to
I went to go
strike
visit
a
my
chord,
family.
you bastard.
I went to go visit my family, which was nice, and then I was like, I should just buy a house because my rent is going up, and this makes more sense.
and fuck Norwich.
No, actually, I'm still like very saddened about the loss of Jason.
Yeah,
I was like,
that is sad actually.
yeah.
I wasn't saying fuck Epic here. I just say fuck Norwich.
No, so just
Rest in peace, by the way. We said on
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, very quick aside. One of the members of the Norwich development committee, like the people caring about downtown and trying to revitalize it, died last week, and he was like one of the founders.
COVID?
It's undisclosed.
Undisclosed seems
I would
likely
not-
suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's sort of undisclosed. Yeah.
Yeah.
The founders of what?
He was a founder, financier of a lot of the businesses in downtown Norwich,
Oh, that's
including
Specifically,
the one where I met him through was Epicure Brewing, which is we've plugged them a couple of times.
yeah, GBGB, still the best beer in Connecticut.
But also like the workspaces there, a lot of like the smaller retail stuff. Like he genuinely seemed to care a lot about the revitalization of Norwich, and he's not. But yeah, so my rent was going up, so I bought a house instead. But because of how that gets disclosed under taxes, it was viewed as income.
So I have a
it
question.
was a lot.
Where
so.
everyone got this $600 stimulus check, and
Not everyone.
Okay, god damn. So
What
majority of the
about, what about me and my economic privilege?
God damn, how dare the white man get screwed? So my question,
Burn it down.
burn it down, I didn't get my $600. Everyone's like, oh, $600 and boom, boom. Now imagine that $600 that you just got is $1,000
Every month.
every month,
UBI.
UBI.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not UBI friendly.
I'm not, but yeah, I'm not.
But you're speaking to a UBI.
I understand this. I'm saying, can you? I'll play Steven Crowder and change my mind of why this is one economically viable and sound.
I'll give you the treatise
Is it-
that Andrew Yang
That,
wrote.
that Yang Gang life, yeah.
Yeah. I know, like the
$1,000 a month per 18-year-old citizen.
Yep.
For how long? Like, where does it keep the money keep
so
coming from?
specifically, it's actually until you can claim Social Security. It's up until.
Okay. So,
And,
wow.
and there is no.
But every citizen, so X amount of millions, so 200
Yeah,
million.
you actually get it in lieu of
Okay.
Social
So
Security.
there's 300 million citizens
and
in the
it actually
country.
doesn't matter.
200 million more adults.
You could make $200 million and you still technically get the $1,000
I understand. I'm saying there's 200 million people.
Sure.
Because 100,000 of them are.
because
Do you want
$1,000.
to know why specifically, or why it's viable?
I want to be changed my mind to make me understand. Because for me, it's
Also,
like.
I've explained.
Because I'm
on
coming
other
from the
ones
school.
before.
I'm
It's
coming.
because it also is paired with the flat
I'm
tax.
coming from the
right?
school
Yes.
It's
of
flat tax.
I'm coming from the school of Milton Friedman, and I'm coming from the school of
Yes, factually inaccurate economic theories.
how am I blanking on his name?
I guess he wasn't memorable.
Well, Thomas Sowell, but like another.
John Locke.
Yeah, no, yeah, probably Locke.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Stuart Mills. Stuart Mills. I'm coming from their economic school.
Cool.
Cool story.
Yeah, so the reason why I bring that up is automation wasn't a thing when most of it was established.
This is my constant argument. Yeah.
Secondly, we've moved into
So you're saying
advanced
automation
tech-
makes those economic truths not universal truths?
Yes.
Yes, because overwhelmingly the workers in this market are like in essence
No longer
viewed as
producing.
cogs in the machine.
Well, they're also
They're-
no longer
they will
producing
work, they will
anything.
contribute, they will produce. Those jobs don't exist.
There's no production.
The framework built off of those jobs, while they were valid, absolutely, 60 years ago, they are increasingly becoming irrelevant. And I say that not as like we can just
I'm not saying technology
throw
doesn't change. I'm not saying
baby out
because
with it.
there's no
but
kids on the sidewalk with newspapers really anymore because newspapers are becoming
Right.
irrelevant.
There's
I
not
have a
even newspaper stands
Right.
outside.
Right.
They actually, the ones that are, make most of their money selling cigarettes.
Right.
Cheers.
But so I understand that things, and now the guy that does the printing press of the newspaper, his job is unavoidable. But it doesn't mean that a job can't be malleable. It can't shapeshift into another form. It can't. Someone can't be cross-trained
Production.
to learn into other things. In other
So,
departments.
so,
I'm not
so
saying it
fun
doesn't
fact,
exist.
you're right. You can get a lot of those coal miners to go and learn about solar energy.
Oh, what happened to that?
But the main issue with it is that the amount of people
Needed is less.
needed for it is less.
Yes. That's
So yeah, you can cross-train 1,000 like oil workers.
So it now comes the role of the government to financially support them.
The alternative is starvation and then becoming
Oh,
a
it's
drain
so
on
apocalyptic. It's not.
Also,
like,
let's
it
step back
is.
what
It's
you
their
just said.
responsibility to adjust.
Here's
Okay,
actually what you're
here's the
actually
main issue
missing.
with it. And
it's
one-
just like
one
it's
quick
just like
thing.
if there's because of automation
Not-
now we have people dying in the streets. It's like it's
No,
not that
okay.
black and white.
Okay, that
It is,
that,
though.
that is a very steep leap. It is.
You
And
made
what's
the
gonna- it is what is
It's
going
the
to happen.
conclusion. It's not the lead.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
going A through Z and saying, "How did we get here?" Well, through 25 fucking steps. So continuing through it though, when you have, like, yeah, you can retrain. I mean, we have fucking coding boot camps everywhere.
But coding's going to get automated. too.
Coding is going to be automated.
Yes.
We are already, like, RPA is a thing. You don't need to write shit anymore.
Who's going to code the code that automates that?
One
it's,
person.
it's one person who
It's a
writes,
tree that goes this way,
Yeah,
right?
it'll
So
I-
less
out.
people are needed at every step.
No, I understand that, but I mean, there's still a need for
There-
those people.
for-
and
no,
then,
no, not those people. That person.
That person.
You
is-
have one job that used to be done by 10,000. I'm using this as like the extreme for the production
Right,
labor
right.
force one. So like, yeah, you can cross-train them for that. There are 9,999 people who don't have that job.
But you still need the consumer side of it. So
Exactly.
you subsidize the
You need
consumer to
something.
buy the bullshit product.
Because again, bringing it forward,
I
which is
understand that
actually an
that
element
could be a
of.
reality. I'm trying
I
to
think, not,
I'm
I think
trying
it's
to
actually-
connect why it becomes the role of the government and the taxpayer to pay them $1,000
Because
a
that's
month.
not paying them. That money isn't going to them to be like, cool, now put this in your offshore bank account.
It goes into the market.
It is immediately
up.
being spent. Poor people spend money.
Agreed.
Poor people
That is
spend
the fundamental element of capitalism.
the less money you have, percentage-wise, the more of your money you spend.
I agree with that concept. Yes.
So when you give someone who makes
there's a
12 grand a year, theoretically, an extra 12 grand, they're going to spend all of it.
correct. So there's a
And that money just gets
rapper. What's
reinvested.
his name? Starts with an N. Can't think of it.
No,
Nas.
No, not him. No, Nobi?
Moby?
No, not Moby.
No.
I don't know.
Who gets
I don't know.
stomped by Obi.
He's a rapper and a hip hop artist, but he kind of
No
takes
ID.
no. He kind of takes a slightly more conservative stance.
Jake's gonna give you like
But-
a whole bunch of like obscure rappers. And
No. But
I'm
I'll
just gonna
find
be
him. I'll
like,
find him.
Lil
Big
Nas
no.
X.
Big no.
But he made a post or he made a claim that if we have enough money to do this, if we give every single American citizen a clean slate and $100,000,
Yep.
the Mark Cubans would be the Mark Cubans, and the poor guy would be the poor guy. And even though everyone's on if you had equal outcome here, or equal opportunity, I should say, right there at 100,000.
which is apparently what we're supposed to have, right?
Right. And but he said that the Mark Cubans would know what to do with that 100,000 to make it 100 million, whereas me.
No, hold the fuck up. Actually, to that, because to make it 100 million.
He's
That
saying-
almost seems like a borderline eugenics sort of situation.
well, also-
No,
that's
no,
also-
it's weird. He's saying that the
Numbers don't
some
matter.
people, no, he would
anymore,
say
though.
He would say some people's lives would improve and they would get a check just and improve. He goes, but at the end of this experiment, those who were poor before the experiment would probably end up being poor still, and those who had money and wealth would still probably be wealthy.
Poor people
Because
don't
it
care
almost
about
seems as
tomorrow.
though there was some systemic
Oh
structural
my
issues to this.
God.
Also,
It's
poor
reinforcing this.
people are worried about today anyways. You're talking about tomorrow plans, right?
I mean, I'm
With
gonna-
$100,000
I'm going to give you one piece right now, and now it's fucking gone. Shit.
Excellent.
So
no,
just
the element
I'll
with it
accept that. I'll
poor
accept your
people-
apology.
No, it's fuck.
Well, while you think about
Mike's
that,
talking.
well, to add on to your point, so if you're saying you give $100,000 to Elon Musk and $100,000 to Joe Schmo that works at the grocery store, the person that works at the grocery store making minimum wage is still going to be
No more. It's
Poor.
not a matter of everyone loses all their money. Elon Musk, everyone goes to $0 in their bank account. Everyone gets $100,000 now to start their life.
Okay.
right. Okay.
Again, that is education. You have an entire skill sets of trade skills. You have so much knowledge that's there.
Also,
which is
so-
not accounted. Also,
So
the other piece that I wanted
couldn't the
to
argument be made
No, no,
that
the-
so
the-
couldn't
the
the
one-
argument be
the
made
one
that
thing that I
therefore
wanted-
it's
I-
not just money and access to money that improves your life. It is the skills you acquire. It is
Right.
the education you require.
Hold the fuck up.
No.
Because no, you're wrong. Because what you're talking about with redistributing wealth in that regard is
Sounds like socialist
No,
propaganda.
it's
completely-
this was a weird hypothetical that he posted.
But it doesn't really make any sense though, because there's no, you can't even represent an economy that way, because the economy no longer matters.
Yeah.
You've just created nihilism. It does not matter at all. You made money worth nothing.
Yeah.
So no, the guy who is like Elon Musk isn't going to have $1 million tomorrow. He's going to get fucking killed by a mob of people. There's no dollar.
This is
See,
you're
there's like-
taking weird variables.
No,
I did-
Okay,
a
so
more-
I did remember the piece that I wanted to.
There's an extremity that you're talking about that is it doesn't make any sense.
So
No, the-
It's not what I'm talking about. It's just what this guy
Yeah.
posted.
Okay, well,
I think-
and
I
the
responded to him.
generalization of his
All right,
post
I-
was that those that are good with money would continue to be good with money.
But
They're
everyone has
not-
$100,000.
they're not
No
good.
one has any money.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
So scarcity is what drives currency.
Yes, exactly.
All economic systems view that.
I'm not saying we can't poke holes in this guy's statement.
Sure,
That's
sure.
fine.
But the piece behind it is the concept of people who are good with money will still be good with money.
And they'll be able to
They
use
don't-
that
sure.
money. Like Ashley,
So-
for
so,
example,
I mean,
would have more money after 10 years time. Ashley would have more money than me because I'm not as good as money with her. And
So
I'm-
that there is the UBI. That's the point of a UBI.
No,
but it's not
well,
the
that's-
government's role to come pick up my shortcomings because I'm fucking stuck with spending money.
Because so here is the setup for it. If left to your own devices and you just like spiral off into becoming a non-contributing member of society, you in essence become a drain on said society. So they are subsidizing not your shortcomings, just so that you don't become a bigger dependence on them. Keep in mind, Andrew Yang's concept and push for UBI wasn't like keep food stamps, keep SNAP benefits, keep these things. It's you get this, but everyone gets those. That's the setup. You can't collect Medicare or you don't get Social Security checks.
Did we
and
discuss
things.
where this comes from?
It is you
Flat
were
tax.
still being taxed.
The flat tax.
Yeah.
The flat tax.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now to move on to another piece for it, almost all wealth in the U.S. right now, which was the point that I was trying to make up for it, is inherited. It's not actually made. So there are few exceptions.
I
So
was
like
gonna say I kind of semi-disagree with that.
Jeff Bezos' wife became the 12th richest person in the world by divorcing.
I understand
the
you're
richest man.
taking a specific example using it as an outlier. I'm
Sure,
saying
I'll even use
all
the example.
capital and all
I'll
money,
even move it further onto it.
all capital
Truthfully,
and all money
the Walton family inherited
was
most of their money.
was created either through labor or the exchange of
the
services for
manipulation of labor.
what?
The manipulation of labor. Because if it
They
was
came
done
from
through labor, it
somebody's
would have
work.
gone to
Whether
the
I inherited it
workers.
from my father, that money had to be earned eventually through labor and exchange of goods and services at some point down the chain. It didn't It didn't just come out. of thin air.
I'll ask you this. So the man who owns a textile mill, right?
Yes.
He is entitled to all of the wealth generated from the workers there. As the owner of them, he is employing them, and he's saying, "You agree to make garments for 10 cents on it. I'm going to sell all of them for $1. I'm going to keep the 90 cents that's there."
Yes.
Okay.
That is a yes. He incurs all the risk. If he goes up belly up, he pays all the debts and deals with the banks. The worker doesn't have face the downside.
So, fun fact: in our existing system, he does not actually have to. You file Chapter 13 or Chapter 7 bankruptcy. you
Right.
look
I
at
thought we were
your
talking
assets, you're out.
theoretics here. Or are we
No,
talking
I mean, like,
actual execution?
In actual set, like, you can. It's very easy to go and spin hyperbole around and be like, "Oh well, in this figurative world, we're all $100,000, or in
Yes,
this
exactly.
Well, I
figurative
thought you were
factory."
asking me a figurative question. So
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, when you look
realistically,
at
yeah.
it,
Okay.
there are systems in
What's
place.
that whistling? You don't let me ask him.
It's
The
the
radiator.
radiator.
Sorry if you hear that whistling.
Yeah.
They did for sure.
So when you have a system in place, like the U.S. legal system, with various codes and suits that you may be able to file if that is something you pursue. We will look at our current sitting president who has filed bankruptcy
X time. Enough.
countless times, and he did not assume any of the risk, and he wrote off each and every one of them. Because we exist in a legal structure where you no longer, when you reach a certain degree of capital and you reach a certain degree of wealth,
Also,
the rules that
influence, too.
apply to, influence, yes,
So-
but you can see very quickly how sphere of influences can change.
social capital is important though, for sure. Because
It's becoming more important, but during this
I have
point
a
in time,
question. Would that fall under the? If you're talking about social influence with the means of gaining capital, isn't someone like Jeffrey Epstein the perfect example of that? Like, no one really knew where he got his money. He kind of just
I figured it was child labor. Or,
child labor.
Child,
There was
child
labor.
labor and
it was
human
work.
trafficking.
It was work for
There
those
was
kids.
labor.
It was work
Yeah.
for those kids. But like he's an example of someone who had influenced the people at the highest levels of government and pop
Hey.
culture.
Record. We're at 6 viewers.
Hey.
Cool. Must be all this talk about Greek theory.
And child
And
Three
child
viewers.
molesters.
child molesters.
Yeah, Greek theory. But no. So even when you look at wealthy financiers like Jeffrey Epstein, or if you look at anyone in the system, Epstein was murdered because
Well,
other people were worried
it
about
was
it.
not murder.
Yeah, either he murdered himself or Hillary Clinton did it herself. Those are your options.
To go out.
These people can't get blood on their hands physically.
No.
Some calls.
Hillary's a cold, calculated person. She wanted to see the light go out.
And I like how we talk about Hillary Clinton when there's no videos of Hillary and
They were
Jeffrey
both in
Epstein
upstate New York at the
dancing.
same time. That's true. I mean, it wasn't Bill.
it wasn't
Was-
Bill, it was Trump.
Upstate New
No,
York,
to
where?
truth be told, it was probably the Queen.
No, so there's videos of Donald Trump and
Not
Yeah,
a far
Jeffrey
because of Prince
Yeah,
Andrew,
dancing.
right?
Yeah,
Prince
Sure,
Andrew,
sure.
like the
I actually believe that more than Donald Trump for sure.
yeah.
You
I
think
don't,
the
I don't
royal
think
family had something to do with Epstein's?
well,
Untimely
Prince Andrew.
death?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's pictures of Prince Andrew with the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, of course.
And
I
so-
believe
Yeah.
that. 100%.
He's like, oh, I don't sweat, so clearly it's a lie. It's like, here are 7 photos of you dancing, sweating your ass off. I just don't pay attention to the help.
Mother or grandmother, whatever her role is to hit that guy.
Mother.
Yeah, mother. Could you please send over your I just imagine
Can you
the
get
Swiss-
angry about
I
that?
remember this. I just imagine like Swiss guards walking in that protect the fucking Buckingham Palace. They fly to New York. They just walk in and just like pull out their rapiers.
Just start stabbing.
It's like fucking Jon Snow.
Yeah. For the watch. But no, like, truthfully, in that situation, I'm not one for a lot of conspiracy theories, but Epstein definitely was murdered, and I think it was probably at the request of the British royal family.
That's nuts. I actually hadn't thought about like the British royal family.
Yeah, like the Queen
The
is
original fucking.
Are the British royal family also behind the death of Harambe? That's another big.
How about Princess Diana?
No, that was Trump.
Probably.
But yes.
Probably Princess Diana.
Yes, Princess Di. No.
No one's
Harambe.
allowed to love another woman more than me, said the Queen. Or like like everyone has to love me.
The women.
Oh no! It definitely had to do with her husband wanting a divorce
That-
to marry Carmela.
Carmela. No.
Kamala
Not
Kamala
Harris.
Harris.
Not Kamala Harris. I
Um,
think it's the Duchess.
Parker
of
Bowles.
I know.
Now here's the big
That was
question:
her last name.
Do
Parker
you
Bowles.
think something tragic? If something,
Here's a real question.
we have Tisdale.
Ugh.
If something,
All of
So
them.
off camera,
If-
there is a
if something happened
fifth
to,
of whiskey.
is it Meghan, the one who?
Meghan Markle.
The-
Yeah,
Yep.
she left. They left the royal
Yeah,
family.
they abdicated.
They advocated. If something tragic happened to her, would you be like, I'm on board now? They're just knocking off people that they don't like and disagree with.
For whom?
So the issue
Meghan.
with killing Meghan Markle is
No.
she was too prolific,
And beloved.
even
Princess Diana is the definition of
even-
prolific.
even greater than Princess Di.
I don't know about that statement.
No, I mean regardless of like one's personal
There was a
feelings
Beanie
for it,
Baby made for Princess Di.
So you're
after
saying,
she was dead.
so you're saying, assuming that Meghan Markle
Was it?
divorces,
Is in Memorial.
What?
you say in a divorce situation?
No. If something tragic happened to her,
Yeah,
an
if-
unforeseen accident, just is. Do you?
I think it would have to be. I think she had to do more damage to the name,
Yeah,
Because
and that's
you-
so
because
it's
you do not-
reputation that
because you do not
matters.
divorce a fucking royal.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I mean, that's old school, but yeah.
So throughout it, Jake, you were absent for the question on it. In talking about the shifting, so I just want to kind of sum up before we go on to a break, since I think we're probably approaching it.
We didn't want anything that doesn't fall.
With what has happened over the past
It's
2
good.
weeks, from Trump being impeached twice to the siege of the Capitol, are we at that sort of inflection point in which the ideal democracy moves to its degenerate state, or is this truly just a minority, a flash in the pan? The swamp will stay the swamp, and everything else will continue through. Or do you think this marks the beginning of the end of the American ideal?
I think it's a hiccup.
I think the American dream is dead.
I
do
disagree.
too.
I disagree with that.
It absolutely
I
is.
don't think it's dead.
It's-
but I think
it's
you have to
too-
be asleep in order to go and
It's too.
experience
It's,
it.
if
Thanks, George Carlin.
I feel like the randomness involved in having the meteoric climb from, poverty to riches is so obvious that there is no dream.
It doesn't stop 2 million immigrants a year from outside this country
That's because
coming here.
it doesn't mean
It doesn't mean that the American dream is the pursuit. It's just that
it's better than
the
a fucking
standard
guy.
at the substandard in America is still super standard from where they're.
Yes, it's not a
But it
praise.
still has that term, the American dream, to come from
It's a
nothing
great
to be able
marketing tool.
Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's not a praise of the American ideal. It's a condemnation of how bad a lot of South American countries have gotten.
So it isn't just South America. Southeast Asia.
China, if
Sure, sure, but I'm focusing on the ones we talked about in this last presidency. Okay, the wall that we didn't build really.
You mean that Mexico didn't build?
No, right, exactly. Those people aren't coming here because they think
What do you mean
America-
those people?
South
Migrants.
Americans, or migrants, are not coming here because they think America is going to give them this sort of like, perfect ideal lifehood, and like America is going to treat them better than they could ever possibly be treated in any system. It's more that America is the best option in a bad world. Like they're coming from something that's worse. They could walk here. Why not do it?
We have a chance at
They won't be.
Super standard view of that.
They're less likely to be murdered by their government, like that sort of thing.
Are you sure? Have you seen the numbers?
But also remember too,
No.
again, going back to what I was saying earlier.
Cliffhanger.
I mean, I dropped a little hint of this earlier. We're talking about like how, corporations have had huge influence on government. Like, you can thank companies like Chiquita for going down there and ruining South American countries for their
That was Nestle.
well, Nestle too, but Chiquita as well. The whole
Couldn't the American dream be subjective?
Banana Republic is from that.
In terms of to each
about
individual, because I have a guy that I work with who came from one of the Southeast Asian countries. I'm not sure which one it
I don't
was.
know, but I love this anecdote. It's real great.
But like, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, this is a case. If he's there, he's not the only one that's viewing this thing. As he came with literally nothing at 20, 21. He's older guy now, and he, started doing like dishwashing stuff in the back of a kitchen on, and for almost nothing, and built his way up, and boom, and learned, didn't speak the language. Now speaks the language.
So
now
employers were breaking the law to go and offer substandard wages to people who shouldn't legally be here.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they didn't pay him
Excellent.
fair wages or anything like that. I'm just saying
Yeah,
he
didn't.
picked a medial job, and with coming with no skill set and no language, but enough to just keep some lights on in a small little dingy New York apartment. Does this, makes the
Assholes
starts-
pay like
starts-
$4,000 for that in Brooklyn.
makes
So-
makes the right decisions. Like finds a woman, marries, things like this, and all of a sudden he learns the language. He gains skills. He makes the right choices in this country and works hard. And now he's a pit boss at a casino, making over $100,000 a year. And he openly, we talked about politics and stuff at the table, and he goes, "I am the example of the American dream." He goes, no, he's not a millionaire. He just has a good, stable job coming from nothing.
He has security in a place that he views as secure.
I 100%.
Right, but
I
he
100%.
came to come from nothing, and he goes, "My country that I came from, and things like this don't happen to other people." He goes,
Again,
all the people in my community, that he's from, and all his family that came over here, did that same path and came with similar results that they raised, and that is their American dream. Yeah, they didn't become Mark Cuban and Mark Zuckerberg, but why is that to me is proof the American dream is alive.
So I have two things. I fucking definitely not well. Two things I would say to that is that when you say you tell that story about that one person, how many people is that not true for?
It's 1 out of 2 million.
Right, exactly. And then even begrudging that, like again,
But you're not going to get equal outcome. You can't
No,
force equal outcome.
But if every person comes forward with that gusto and that spring in their step, then it's random chance and circumstance.
Yeah,
That's not a dream. That's no amount of hard work will get you there.
it's
It
like
is the accident of.
there's so many.
No, I disagree with the
No, because
random chaos of the world.
So here's the thing.
I
It's just-
agree. That's the only thing.
This
that's certain, huh?
is the truth right here. It's like getting into acting, right? Getting into acting is hard work is the baseline. So you have to bust your ass in acting to get even in the door, unless you know somebody, obviously, or rich. But if you don't get the fucking
No networking.
if you
complete random person.
if you don't get the Disney Fast Pass of being rich, okay, the baseline of people, you have to be hardworking to get on the list. It doesn't mean you're gonna fucking succeed. There's millions of people every year trying to be actors, and only a very small subset of them even have commercial acting.
Correct.
And even a smaller subset of that ever make it to beyond that to TV or movies the next level up. It's
that's like that's
It's
true
not-
for
but-
the stars
but
trying to be
skill-
an actor.
But
I'm
skill is
saying-
not the only thing. Is my point.
Yeah, his position of using acting isn't like this is an equal.
Like he didn't come to
standard
this country to become a casino pit boss.
I'm not talking,
He did-
but I'm using it as a
Yeah.
framework. Okay, so I'm talking about acting as a metaphor for other.
It's the pursuit of any employment. 'Cause
Hard work.
truly that
Hard work.
exists
Hard
for
work
all of them.
only gets you in the random number generator. That's what I'm saying. It only gets you on the list to be picked from. It doesn't get you there. There's also luck.
It's no amount of hard work and
So my
gusto will get
my
you
shop
all the way.
Guaranteed.
so my shop you would describe as just an example of luck.
No,
not fully.
did I not just? I just said you had to work hard to even get on the fucking table
Yeah.
to have a shop that was successful. You worked hard.
You have to have some quality above somewhat better than what somebody else can present.
Sure, but even in that situation, there is still luck involved, right? There's still the chance that, like, you know, fucking. I mean, COVID killed a whole bunch of businesses that had a bunch of hardworking people with good ideas. You know,
Right. That's bad luck. I understand that's a
But that's what I'm saying. Is
bad
that
luck is the inverse
everyone
of good luck.
is,
You know,
yeah, everyone is one instance of bad luck away from truly losing.
if the fucking earth split open underneath your shop and swallowed it, that would be pretty bad for your business. You know,
The
or
insurance
it would
would
force,
be fantastic.
yeah,
because we have usually not actually force majeure things like that are exempted for
yeah,
insurance
well,
claims.
so you'll get some sort of baseline payout, and that's it.
Usually loss of materials.
It's still a lot of money.
For you,
For what?
yeah, probably.
Like, the good news is that we live in the digital age and you have everything inventoried.
Yeah, right.
So you'll be able to exactly say what
This
was
is very
lost.
true. Yeah.
And
Except
sometimes our inventory is off being +1, so it means I got more than that.
I wish that I had a digitized inventory of my Magic collection before my house fire.
yeah.
Because I would have got a huge payout. I had a serious collection back in the day.
I believe we're break time in that break
We're
window.
out of time. And then we're going to move to phase 2, which is Tisdale.
Oh boy.
Madeline,
buckle up.
Madeline says she thinks that would be your items would be seen as papers and plastics and not as actual their retail value.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
There's I don't know. Edelstein has his stuff insured by companies that
But do you have it directly insured though, or is it just like a blanket insurance policy?
it's a business insurance policy where I have to claim every single thing.
For
Okay.
materials and stuff on it. But
Sure.
even, and I think
They view it as
dealing with the
they
collectible stuff-
deem it as baseball cards.
Yeah.
On the form, it's counted as you have to
So
check off the baseball
collectibles
cards.
is a unique sort of setup for it.
Yeah,
that
you might-
understand that these
Because you
items
can prove that
because
there's
you're-
tangible value by the market TCG.
Because your law is codified like that, you might be actually fine. But yeah, a lot of places don't have that law.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd actually be able to claim all like board games and stuff. Those you'd kind of be shit out of luck, huh?
No, so it's tangible product.
Those have retail value.
That's retail value. My TVs, the
They wouldn't,
games,
they wouldn't have the
PCs,
collectible value, but they have the retail
the
value.
displays, everything.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Yeah.
That's I think the only person who would love that to happen is probably your landlord. With that, we'll move to
Bum, 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 bum. All right,
Break
we'll be back.
time, and we have the questions at the end. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, if anyone's got some
Yeah,
questions, we got some good view. We had a good viewer count tonight. Please feel free to submit your questions in the in the comment box over here on Twitch. We're going to take a quick 5-10 minute break. We're gonna keep it short tonight, and we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. I'm sorry for what you're about to experience, guys. And we're live. Part 2, first episode of 2021. This is Left Right Cab. Tanner Hall with Travis Pajoli, Jake Rudder, and our special guest, Mike Charter. And I'm sorry, I actually... Don?
Antonio.
Antonio. Oh, yeah, Antonio, sorry.
Antonio Santos.
Santals.
And the camera goes now.
Santos.
You know my name? My last name?
Yeah, we're Facebook friends, bro.
Facebook friend.
there you
I
go.
don't
That's
know.
the other reason you
Yeah.
So we have an off-camera guest. First part of the show, talked a lot about government, different types of government. Talked about taxes and UBI. We dabbled a lot in different subjects. The second part is kind of just more
Pop culture, shoot from the hip.
shoot from the hip. What's on your mind? What are you thinking? What grinds your gears?
I think Mitch McConnell will go and vote to impeach.
I think
You
he's
think
signaling
so?
that.
Yep.
He's signaling it. I don't know if I believe it.
I thought he said no to the impeachment.
He's changed tune. This
Yeah,
today,
he's-
actually.
No, I mean he's
No,
been
like-
signaling most of it. He says that he
I could've swore I saw
wasn't keen on how the article was written.
Oh.
Not that it was written and not how it was presented to him, just the general piece behind it.
Gotcha.
One of the elements behind it though is that like he is
You're not
very,
supposed to drink it, bruh.
Mm.
Spit that
Gross,
back
don't
out.
you,
I did it.
gross.
Yeah.
Now the rest of the line's ruined.
Or
Or
sure?
you arguably improved it.
I may have improved it.
We have a second wine because we drank all the first wine. The one that I bought for what was going to be my wine week, but now I have to get a different one. But it's alright, this one didn't break the bank. Tisdale.
So this usually when second wine comes out, it is always infinitely worse,
Unless it's
with
your
one
favorite.
exception. But more often than not, it is just shit wine at the end for it. And Tisdale is something that when I was living in Washington, I would see this in the bargain bin at the register at 7-Eleven, and they couldn't give it away. Like, this shit was
Yeah.
so bad.
So we'll do the taste test, taste meter and the price-o-meter game. And cheers. Jake's not here, but fuck him. Yeah, a little more brute than the last one.
See, I like that, but it
I-
definitely does not taste like an upper echelon type of wine.
This tastes like a fucking headache.
Well,
Jake's like, no, I have to run back.
no.
No, I'll go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, there's no rush to get back to this, I promise.
Yeah.
I was
It tastes like
Yeah.
angry grapes.
I know. Yeah, Antonio is studio audience.
the first audience member to get a pour, so
Yeah, that's true.
We'll have to hold up the applause sign.
Oh, Christ.
This is gonna taste terrible.
What is this again?
Tisdale.
Tisdale. Oh.
So, price-o-meter.
fuck.
I will go last.
Oh, I thought you were excluded because I thought I told you.
I mean, I knew how much it was,
Oh, okay.
and you were like, "Yes, I got it."
Yeah, back when we were in Wisconsin.
No, this.
I guess we have the I have the
It's palatable.
the framework of like all our other wines we've
It's
done
not-
every
it's-
other episode to compare to, and it's like
You've been educated a little bit.
it's like RC Cola to like Coke in a glass can
It's like
I'm not complaining.
or a glass bottle. I mean.
All right, so Antonio says not complaining. Like,
Hey, free booze, free booze.
it's palatable. It's palatable.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't hate it anyway. It's not fucking sugary bullshit.
I'm not gonna order it when
Excuse
I go
me,
out.
sir.
it is sugary bullshit.
Not as much as some of the ones that.
Maybe I drink
Yeah, I mean, like this is
Let's
mostly
see
sugar.
if they even have the balls to explain this in the back.
I had a bottle of Welch's grape juice, and I had a 2-gallon bottle of water, and I dropped one in the other.
It does take like Welch's grape juice. You're very right. It's ripe blackberry
this is the
and
stuff
plum.
that priests give to little boys.
Oh, ooh, a communion wine.
All right. So the question is,
Antonio's like, yeah.
Yep.
do we want to do
Catholic.
Yeah.
We wrote Catholic. Not Catholic.
taste-o-meter? It's better than Walking Dead.
I don't have a frame of reference.
Good to
Yeah.
see.
But
Yeah,
It's worse than the one we had
it
earlier.
is worse than 14 hands.
Worse than 14 hands.
Oh yeah, it's so bad. Oh man.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's palatable. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's I mean, like palatable in
You
the
think
sense
it
that
is?
like it's not disgusting,
I do
it's
appreciate
juice. It's very juicy,
But
but
it ends so quick,
right.
even quicker than this wine by a lot. Like you just like the flavor's over so quickly.
But then the bite at the end, where it's supposed to be a little bit dry and harsh,
Doesn't happen.
doesn't happen. At least it's not strong enough for me.
So I gave 14 hands a 5. I'm going to give this a 3.5. It's
that
better because Walking Dead was a 3. So I'm giving this a half step higher than Walking Dead.
You can't give it a 3. 'Cause it's 3-finger jack.
Ah,
Who buys Walking Dead?
you teed that up a lot. I'm sorry.
So
People that don't know any better.
They did a Halloween episode about like.
That was the main wine too. That wasn't even the garbage wine.
Yeah, the garbage wine that night, Jake, was 3-finger jack.
I know.
We did 3. Yeah, we need to wash this out with the best wine we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a 3.01. Like I can't.
A 3 is fair.
It's as close to a 3 as I can give it.
Yeah, but I think I gave Walking Dead like a 2 or 1 though. So
I don't think I've ever given wine that bad a one. I think the only one that I'll say is that bad is like Manischewitz. Because it's just sugar.
longevity.
Even longevity, I think I gave it 4.
This and longevity are like have the opposite problem. Longevity.
I don't think I can taste the difference.
I would say longevity was grosser to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more.
Yeah, this is
Longevity was more acidic. It's really just like someone.
If you hid the label for me and you poured me a glass of wine, let me go get in the kitchen, get you a glass of wine, and poured this, I would power through it. Longevity, I would struggle to.
You would leave it half drink on this kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Longevity, there was actually something wrong with longevity for real. Like it had, like, I mean, like as in like.
Speaking of which,
you
longevity
shouldn't sell that to
sponsor us.
people.
Yeah.
We'll take.
The sad part
It's
is
bad,
like
but
that,
we'll take free wine.
That wine was like $12 to $13 for that bottle, and that's
It's fucking nuts. It had like a real like acidic,
something
acrid.
was wrong with it.
It was bad. Like it was like I would if I made that, if I fermented that myself, I would pour it
that's
out.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I fucked up
So-
at some step in the
Something
procedure.
about this is wrong.
Not good.
So now we have the lovely price-o-meter.
Fucking $5.
$5. Do you want to take a stab at
$7.98.
$7.98?
$7.99.
Mm.
Two
fucking
$1.99.
right,
No, $1.99.
You got it for $1.99?
$1.99.
$1.99.
They are normally.
Are you serious?
They are normally $3.99, and it was on it was on sale.
I mean,
Like-
it's the best $1.99 wine I've ever had.
At
I
all
know,
the
it's
Tisdale
also
at
the
this
only one
at
I've
this
had.
place, all the Tisdale.
I try not to
Pinots,
go under $15.
the Pinots, the Merlots, all of them. They have every single one, but they have them in buckets at the package store, and there was all $1.99.
That is
I said I have to
fascinating.
do
I've never seen wine that
It's
cheap.
a cork wine too.
And truth be told, most of the money is the glass.
Yeah. No, honestly, this is $1 a glass almost. Like it's like 80 cents a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $1.99 on sale. So normally it is $3.99, but it was $1.99 when I bought.
So one thing I always appreciate about just like shitty wine, I think one of my favorite shitty wines is the Little Penguin.
Oh,
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's like about $4 or $5 a bottle.
Yeah.
Screw top, and I'm just like, down, and like it's just
I always see it like parents' house when I go at friends or ex-girlfriends. The parents always had Yellowtail.
because you can buy $1.5 liters.
Little
for
Penguin's
like 12,
way better than
15 bucks.
Yellowtail though. Little Penguin's definitely better than Yellowtail. Even though their like logo design's very similar.
It's a fucking kangaroo. The other's a penguin.
But they're both
anything alike.
they're both a small animal centered on a single color background.
Yeah. Yellowtail, I think, is just a yellow or orange one on a black
Right.
label.
Yeah, they have a similar design for sure.
Truth be told, I can't tell you the difference between Yellowtail and Barefoot when I drink it.
So
I
our
think-
cheapest wine is
I'm
not our
assuming-
worst wine. That's a good thing.
No, longevity's worse. But longevity also wasn't an official wine either. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Go ahead, Mike. Shoot from the hip.
No.
What?
Pick a topic.
Pick a topic?
You name it, and
I name
we'll debate.
Can Trump supporters be sad boys?
They're certainly proud
As
boys.
opposed to
Yeah.
not being proud.
So if I'm picking a topic, I was recently called Ron Swanson because I completely got rid of every piece of social media in my life, and I
Do you also enjoy woodworking?
do.
Actually,
I enjoy a nice fine glass of whiskey.
I do.
I know Travis has a LinkedIn, so it's some bullshit high five right there.
So okay,
That's true.
so I do have a LinkedIn, but you need that shit because how else you gonna network and make that money?
well, LinkedIn's definitely overrated now, for sure.
Well, since Microsoft bought it, yeah, but
Mm.
still, it's still useful.
Big tech coming in.
Yeah.
Ruining med jobs.
Okay, so
is it-
if you're Ron Swanson, that's a good question. What fictional character do you personify most? Do you think?
Can I answer that for
Could-
you?
For me,
Yeah.
Ooh.
fictional character. It's fictional.
Oh,
right?
let's go to
fictional,
fictional.
fictional.
He'll answer for you. You answer for me. I'll answer for Travis.
I have to think about it though. Like,
Yeah.
he had it instantly. This means he's thought about this,
Mhm.
or he has crossed his mind. Oh no! I no way. I'm totally not that.
John Ralphio.
John Ralphio. I do fucking love John Ralphio.
Do you just
Are
want to
you
do Parks and
John?
Recs?
Is that really your pick
No,
for him?
no.
Oh, I was gonna say, damn.
I fucking love
I'm
him.
just saying how
DJ
I-
Roomba.
DJ Roomba. What was the name of the club that they
The
opened?
Snake Pit.
Okay.
Snake lunch?
Snake Lounge or Snake Pit? Snake Lounge. It's the Snake
What
Lounge.
was the drink?
Snake
Snake-
juice?
Snake juice. Yeah. Yeah, sweet.
But basically, my,
Ron drinks it is like, well, by God, if that isn't delicious. It's
My-
like the most like brute thing you can have.
I was gonna say, my question was, if I've gotten rid of all of social media, like, how do you? Maybe I forgot what my question was. I'm sorry. I pulled the Travis from earlier.
Hey, I eventually
I know.
went back there.
Come back to me. I'll do better.
You spoke about your topic for 30 minutes before you got back there, so.
Yeah, because I'm sorry that we weren't talking about how our studio audience is David Cross.
I'm sorry.
We got David Cross. We couldn't get Ben Shapiro, though.
We got David Cross look alike.
The impersonator. We hired David Cross impersonator. We should hire a Ben Shapiro impersonator. No,
When I didn't have facial hair, I was told someone told me they thought I looked like Tony Hawk.
Like 45-year-old Tony Hawk, or like Tony
Kurt.
Hawk when he was like.
I don't remember, maybe relevant, but I didn't have my hair like that. It was more Tony Hawk-ish actually, but yeah.
I don't see it at all right now.
I mean, a skinny white guy, maybe side profile, big nose on it. He has kind of like a longer, than slender nose.
He is a Birdman.
Birdman.
About that beat clip.
So maybe. That's the only thing I've been told. Like. Oh no, there's a stand-up comic. Hold on, I'll find him and I'll show him.
Ken has that condition where he can't really recognize faces, so.
Apparently.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been told that
I'm just gonna
I
Google.
remind people
Oh,
of famous
sure.
people on it. So
Really?
yeah.
Not even in like how you act.
No, in how I act, it was Hamish from.
Yes, it's 100% Hamish. That's your guy.
Yeah.
Hamish from.
I was about to say the Magicians, but it's not the Magicians.
The
Order.
Order.
Which is like a Netflix werewolf witchcraft, and it's a secret order of stuff at a college. And Hamish is a
My hair's not
werewolf.
long anymore, but someone told me this is a stand-up comic. They thought I looked like him.
We got, put you on
I
the-
don't,
on
I
the
don't
camera,
even
sorry.
know.
Yeah.
I can't watch that kind of stuff.
I can see that one. I can see that one more.
Don't see it.
If you were a little more unkempt,
Yeah, when I had my hair longer and stuff, yeah.
that actually looks like the dude who just bought those dual lens.
That looks like the dudes about the dual lens. I'll try to find another picture that looks similar.
We're kind of meandering right now, to be honest.
So I guess my question, I guess now that I remember it, if I'm considered Ron Swanson for getting rid of social media and
So I look
being-
at
You're
that.
gonna distract him again. He just remembered it.
being interested in in woodworking and certain things, and not wanting the government to overtake me, as I think they will at some point.
It's not the government, it's going to be the tech companies.
Yeah,
The corporate.
Okay, what were you gonna show him? I was just kidding.
but
That was a picture.
Question being,
Oh yeah, from the Order. Hamish from the
question
Order.
being, how far do you get before you are like that sort of societal recluse?
The very thing
I mean-
that the government is paying you as.
Yeah.
you're Henry David Thoreau's.
So
Walden
I'll be the first one to say, well, I enjoy Walden.
The Waltons.
Thoreau was
The
a
show.
fucking hypocrite.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah.
he was like, oh, you have to engage in civil dis, you have to not pay your taxes, live off the land. His aunt paid for everything that he did, all of his legal fees, every time he was thrown in jail. She just bought him out of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he stole apples from this guy. Well, rather than have that dude hunt him down, I'm just going to bribe him.
You're saying he was a proponent of civil disability. Or
Civil disobedience.
disability. Civil disobedience.
Yeah.
He's a proponent of civil disobedience, but he's never suffered the consequences of said disobedience.
Of such pieces.
Sure, I 100% agree with that.
Now that said, Walden is a great read. I have a coffee mug with a Thoreau quote on it in my kitchen. So like, the right idiot can say the correct thing sometimes. So like, while deep down I'm like, yeah, you're just puffing smoke out of your ass. I'm saying kind of like, it jives well. I think to answer your initial question of when do you become the recluse that the government is trying to paint you as, is when you exist to be a contrarian for the sake of being against it all.
Right.
Like, are you only against social media because it's edgy and like, oh, well, I'm being told that social media is destroying public and civil discourse, so I'm going to get off of it. It's like, okay, well, if you do that, you actually remove yourself from the civil discourse that you're saying you're no longer a part of.
So,
that you're trying to be a part of.
as an example, WhatsApp made a lot of changes to the terms of service recently. Where
Because
they-
Facebook owns them and now they're going to share data with them.
Right. So now they're basically their app on each of our mobile devices. It has hooks into the phone, so it can read all of your contacts and text messages and send that back to the mothership, so to speak, and plain text, and can be read. And in plain text,
those are permissions that you granted it, by the way.
right? You agree to that, and you can't opt out, which they said is purely done for commercial reasons. They wanted
to tailor advertising too.
right. So I mean, it's obvious that WhatsApp is not the only application, mobile application that's plagued with this kind of issue.
Sure.
So you get rid of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of these things.
So
The thing is, you have to get rid of Amazon and Google, which are the two
are also
things.
doing it.
But also without them, you don't have an internet.
Right.
So
Which there are some necessary evils I'm willing to
the
accept.
infrastructure of the internet is built on their servers.
Can you cue up that Ben Franklin quote about if you sacrifice liberty for security,
You deserve neither.
No.
Yeah.
Tee up. Nice little chip in.
But
but that is sort of the case when you have these sort of things. Keep
there's
in
some
mind,
personal risk in your data that you have to
It's-
assume.
it's
feel
not
like- you feel
personal
like your-
risk either.
You feel like your
because
Google search history is less damning, this maybe than like the entirety of your information.
So fun fact: the state of California passed the CCPA, which is the California Consumer Privacy Act.
Yeah, it's like it's
You,
basically
it's GDPR for
it's the
US
GDPR
companies.
exactly.
So you are entitled to that data.
Right.
You can say delete all my shit, fucking, because again, these companies, in their infinite foresight, are registered in the state of California.
Yeah.
They are
Not for long.
to the-
So
not for long.
Not for long.
Right.
So you could, if you truly cared about it, you could
Texas.
go to them and say, delete all my shit, like purge all of it, everything, and I want you to provide evidence to me of this. Because if they don't, it's like a $250,000 fine.
But the liberal states are the ones who are going to be the ones who enforce that.
Yes.
So they're going to flee to states like Texas.
Where they won't be.
Will never be
these
enforced.
things.
So your ownership of your data only exists if the government is there to defend it.
Right.
Yes, because also keep in mind, are you truly entitled to metadata created from these things? You agreed in those terms and conditions that no one ever read when you joined Facebook to actually give this information.
The ownership.
Right. But
of
if my metadata is
the
not,
the
if the
photos you
metadata
upload
is-
to it is you are surrendering the ownership of it. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
your privacy is an illusion.
right. If my metadata is anonymized, then I don't have any. Then I shouldn't have anything to worry about. I don't care that they know how many clicks or whatever that I had on Facebook.
You care that it's attached to you.
I care that it was attached to me. I don't want to be. I don't want to be known to that organization.
You want to know something fun? I mean, not in your case now, but Jake, Antonio, Tanner, in Facebook, you can go to settings and you can actually look at every single the algorithm
the data it uses.
that it is pushing to you. It'll tell you what it thinks you lean politically, your age, your interests.
Politically.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's
everything that's there,
Mhm.
because it's.
I would get a lot of ads for everything from Turning Point USA to like to sponsor them to Prager University,
Sure.
Reason.com would all these anything that was libertarian or right. It would just say like, hey, you probably like this, and they just throw darts at
But
darts.
it's weird. It's
I
weird that you
don't
don't get
know
the
if
more
Reason-
generic skeptic sites though. Like
No.
you know the
So-
politically
Infowars.
I said
So-
I said politically neutral.
Jake,
So I
you
collect
actually
pocket
got-
knives, and I get a lot of like pro-Trump ads,
Yeah.
like
I-
rah rah rah, support
I have a subscription
Republicans.
box for Bespoke Post, and whenever I'm on my laptop, where I have it like saved in, like the password saved into my Google Link account,
Mm-hmm.
all of the like randomly generated ads are for Bespoke. When I look at the exact same website on my phone, either in incognito mode, where I'll just get ads for Google, or I'll have like CNN pop up, where I'll have the Atlantic, like an article, like a banner on it. And I'm just like, okay, hey, I'm glad that I only really use my phone to look at
Here's one for you.
like news, but like the Bespoke
And
Post
porn.
The internet is for porn.
Go buy lingerie for your, or even don't even buy it. Just go look.
Search for it.
Go look to buy lingerie for your significant other once, and spend the next fucking month getting nothing but spicy lingerie in your ass.
Privacy of the
For
home.
real.
If I were to win the $1 million mega crazy Powerballs, whatever, what's something I would treat myself and spoil? And at Mohegan, when they had that Spin Street, the CD DVD store thing, they had a giant Han Solo carbonite like replica, like it was like
full wall,
like heavy marble.
I would buy that.
And it was, and I would treat myself to that. I said it verbally out loud, and then the next day, I didn't Google it. The next day on my Facebooks, it was selling me Han Solo carbonite desk things, like just to put on your desk, like just saying it.
And you're like, fuck the state.
Jake, are you gonna look up your shower curtain?
Yeah, I'll show you my shower curtain. Yeah, you're like, fuck the state, and I'm like, that's the free market for you, bud.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to tailored advertising.
Yeah, that's free market.
Well, fuck the state. I'm not saying that's the government doing that necessarily. That's just the
oligarchical.
But your California is the only states even trying to curtail that.
Vermont and Delaware,
sure.
interestingly enough.
Also left leaning, at least. Vermont, obviously.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know where the fuck Delaware sits on that. Actually,
They don't have a government.
They have like 4 people. They have 4 citizens. Only 4.
And coincidentally, they're all the Biden family.
Yeah, that's it.
And Corn Pop. Don't forget Corn Pop.
The dog?
Corn Pop's not the dog.
Can you imagine? Think of the balls on Delaware to call themselves a state. That's ridiculous.
So
Rhode Island calls itself a state.
Rhode Island has culture. Delaware has like Old Bay, which they stole from Maryland, and
Old Bay's delicious,
like
though.
Dogfish Head, which Boston just stole from them.
Can we just say that Old Bay is delicious?
Yeah, I mean, fucking,
Old Bay is fucking great.
I went to Bidwell and
Old Bay wings, man.
Old Bay wings with like Old Bay horseradish.
Hashtag sponsor
and
us.
Old Bay other thing. It was just 3 different Old Bay flavors.
It was Old Bay. It was
Old Bay horseradish.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
So we call it Old Bay all day.
Yeah, all day.
I found an interesting questionnaire here that's better than what the questions I was going to ask.
Did we get any additional questions?
No.
There's something about.
I said send questions or nudes. We don't discriminate, and I got neither. So.
Yeah, I gave you both, but that's.
So I think it's a kind of a unique, rare opportunity.
By the way, there's my shower curtain.
Excellent. Oh, that's wasn't that your photo for a while? Your Facebook photo for a while?
Yeah, I switched off. Yeah.
I don't know if the title is given like if you two would be titled best friends.
Yes.
But
Travis is one of my best friends.
Sure. Okay, so definitely Mike and I share that title. We've been friends for years, and we know each other very well inside. Now I'm assuming you guys know each other very well as well. So this was kind of this test of 40 questions to ask your best friend to see if they really actually know you, as well as they think. We don't have to ask all 40. Some are kind of pointless and stupid, but some are good to see. I thought that would be better than like the 3 or 4, whatever we got. Do it. We're gonna fire it off. All right.
Sure.
I'll go. What is my biggest fear? What am I afraid of most?
I mean, honestly, I think you're afraid of feeling stupid in front of other people.
It definitely sucks. It definitely sucks. But I have a podcast every Thursday where that happens, so it's not too bad.
But in a funny way, I think you're afraid of the ocean.
Yeah, that's correct. That's my biggest fear. Ocean. Fuck that.
Is it really?
Yeah, 100%.
Ah, cool.
Flip it.
Yeah, like what's
Back to you. Oh, flip it here. His biggest fear? Give me a sec. I almost want Travis and Jake to go first so I can think about it. I don't know if we've ever actually your biggest fear.
It's not.
Can I ask a question?
It's not having fears is my biggest fear.
Can I ask a question? Is it something tangible? Like mine, the ocean is a thing, or is it like a subjective?
Your fear of the
losing
ocean thing is actually more of the intangible element. It's not so much water that you're afraid of; it's the depths. It's the unknown in the deep.
It's the moment I walk into the water. It's like stepping into Jurassic Park. And shit eats me. I'm not on top of the food chain anymore.
It is the unknown.
Bro, if you're up to your knees, nothing's gonna eat you.
No,
it's not water.
That. Everything is a shark. Seaweed is a shark. Everything, and as soon as I walk in there, it touches my leg. I'm fucking
most
running.
Sharks will be like, "Oh God, escape."
No, it's everything in my
There's
mind.
no meat on you. Nothing's gonna want to eat
A
you.
shark. Your biggest fear? But that's my question. Is it something like losing my family in a tragic accident? Like, is something subjective, or is it like
He-
a physical thing? Like I'm afraid of. Is it a physical thing you can touch and
He
go
didn't
to?
need context from you. I'm gonna say.
But I don't.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I think I know what it is, but I'm not.
Mm.
I'm asking a hint.
I see someone cares more about the other person.
I'm just trying to think if he's even said it to me. Have you ever said it to me at least? Have we ever discussed? Yeah, exactly. So I'm shooting from the hip. I have to go by based on his personality.
I mean, Travis never said it to me. I have some guesses though.
I mean,
Fire away.
I can tell you that there are two like little background on it. I have an irrational fear and then like a valid fear.
I would my immediate would be like loss of like mental autonomy or mental
Yes. So that is like the actual fear.
agility. Yeah.
Specifically, it's like developing so that like I'm still physically fine,
But you're
like
no
my
longer.
mind is not.
Yes.
Like dementia, anything else.
Not even full on vegetation. Just
Yeah,
like
just-
no longer the full.
I'm no longer me.
No longer the full Travis. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
do.
figured.
I do also have an irrational fear though, which I don't think
I mean, I was gonna say
This is
mushrooms,
great.
but obviously that's
You can't fit seafood.
that's
No,
rational for you.
Yeah, no, that is rational for me. Antique dolls.
Antique dolls.
Just
That's
like, fuck
rational. Hold
Yeah.
on, that's rational.
That's rational.
100% antique dolls.
Yeah.
Great.
So like when I was a kid,
Hopefully, I get you
My-
for Secret Santa.
yeah, my brothers when I was a kid, they locked me in a room showing fucking Tommy Knockers, which wasn't
wow.
which wasn't even like the scariest version of that.
Right.
Like Chucky was scarier and shit.
Mhm.
Sure.
But yeah, watching that, I was just like, holy shit. Because growing up, my mom had this like china cabinet in the corner of her dining room. And it was just full of these fucking vintage dolls that like their eyes would open when you lift them up and when you lay them down, they'd fall down. And like they all were this like porcelain. And I was terrified of them. Because I'm like, these fuckers are alive. Like they will hunt me down and when I'm sleeping.
Is
And
it a rational fear or irrational?
That-
At least give me that.
that's
Give me a direction to go into.
I'm
Alright,
extremely
so-
rational.
It's a rational fear.
So Travis,
say like spiders or something.
Travis, go ahead and do mine because I think
My
you're right.
rational. Okay, is it dying alone?
Are you ready to go?
No.
It's not dying alone, like
Dying
somewhere,
alone?
and like
No,
they
hopefully
can't
I-
find you and you're dying alone. Like
Hopefully, I die alone.
I prefer Dylan too. I think absolutely.
I want to be I want to go down with the ship. I don't want to have anybody else around me that can mourn for me.
I would.
Yeah,
I want to.
I don't know.
If
It's
I'm
only
dying,
because
I'm
he's never
blowing up
mentioned.
like a city clock.
That's the thing is like I don't give any sort of intrinsic value to my own life, so it's like my life is other people, so I don't want anyone to suffer from my death, you know. So it's like
The thing is that you've never. I must have said it in passing about the ocean, but I don't think you've ever said what yours is to me. And so that's why I'm just literally shooting
wanna
at
go,
the
Travis?
dartboard.
Well, so like I know most of the intangible because it's a tangible thing. Like it's not an intangible one.
sure, absolutely.
Because commonly, like people would be like the void, dying alone, loneliness. You're like, no, it's
No,
it's.
I
you
just
don't
said
care
no. I
about-
just said it
Yeah,
was.
you don't care about any of this.
Yeah.
Not the weird or the uninvited or
The void doesn't scare me at all.
No.
It's
So
the
the void definitely doesn't.
I was talking about.
The eternal.
The
I don't know.
eternal.
Is it?
There's the
What was
darkness.
Salem?
The and ever. It's the going. The ever. Not
The-
the endless.
The endless. Yeah. God, that was so good. that fucking episode was just fire. Watch season 2 of Sabrina.
Season 4. You mean? 4.
That's right. It
The,
is
the
4.
new Sabrina series.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Chilling Tales of Sabrina.
I haven't watched it yet. I was just asking.
Watch all of them.
Fantastic.
That's the
Sorry, Mike,
the
I
girl.
know.
The
I
girl
know.
plays Sabrina. Is
I-
the daughter
I-
from
Mike
Batman.
texts me, goes, Joan watched it, and I trusted Joan's opinion. She said I wouldn't like it, so therefore I wipe my hands clean.
Madeline said I wouldn't like it. That's why I didn't watch it.
It's
It's
fantastic.
great.
She says it ties into Riverdale, and I didn't like that.
It doesn't. There's only one passing reference to Riverdale,
Okay.
and it's with a delivery boy who gets eaten by Lilith.
They talk about
So- so
Riverdale
so-
like Springfield talks about Shelbyville.
Yeah.
So my real fear is watching Riverdale. So
That's
First
a
off,
good
I also had no problem watching
I'm
Riverdale.
just kidding. Well, anyways, what's your answer for me?
Truth be told, I don't actually know.
What am I afraid of?
Outside of fascists and losing your like.
Oh, I'm not very fascist at all.
I'll punch a Nazi.
The problem, my problem is my answer probably is the same as yours, but in reality, it's
Antique dolls.
yes. No faculties.
Yeah.
And I know that's why you're not saying it. That's why I said it for you.
Well,
But
it's,
that's
for
definitely
you, it's
mine.
predominantly loss of self.
Self. Yeah, the identity. I don't mind losing it. I just don't want to lose it impartial. You know, like if I'm going to die, take the whole thing.
The steady decline is what's
Yeah, none of
what's
that.
there.
I think maybe as a Pisces, I feel really empathetic to other people, so it's like the loss of others is really my bigger fear.
You put stock into astrology?
No, not really. I'm just kidding, really.
I was going to say, really, of all the conversations we've had, I would not pick you
I
to.
mean, I've been told I'm very much an Aries, but I don't actually know what that means.
You're
Yeah.
such an Aries. Oh my god.
I guess.
No, I mean, I don't really.
That's a
believe
very Aries
I
thing
put, I
to
put
say.
no stock.
I'm serious.
I don't really put a stock in astrology or
Same, bro.
numerology or
Same,
like
bro.
that, but it's just fun to talk about. I am certainly an empathetic person, though, for sure.
Antonio, what are you afraid of?
I mean, it's completely irrational, but flying.
Like the fear, like that.
Just flying.
Is it
That-
not
that-
heights though? Or are you afraid of that?
Not heights. I'm not afraid of heights
So being
whatsoever.
in a
yeah,
Because
it's,
pressurized
you're
compartment,
out of
30,000 feet.
it's out of my control. It's bizarre.
You
I
say
mean,
it's irrational or rational?
irrational.
weird.
It's
This is-
bizarre. I mean, you're in a
this is-
tube.
Because
going
the stats say otherwise. Like
Yeah.
driving your car is way more dangerous.
Exactly.
Walking
But
down the
you're in
street
a
is more
tube going
dangerous.
600 miles
And
an
if
hour
you,
in air.
if you
so it's
have
like-
to fly, do you power
642
through
to
it?
670.
Yeah.
If you,
Mind
if, you,
blowing.
if you have to fly, do you power through it and just say, I just deal with it? And
I get drunk.
there you go.
Oh, I do that too. Before
Four
the
plays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
like,
very drunk.
I feel like I
What's
work.
your answer? You figured
I
it
thought-
out?
Tanner's like, I'm scrolling through your non-existent social media.
Have you said anything? Oh, god damn it.
All right, Tanner. We've all fucking everyone's gone, including Antonio. So it's not just you.
Flying is also like super common. Like it's not a weird.
It is very common, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
still irrational.
It could be, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a good irrational
71 million
fear
people
after
voted
this.
for Donald Trump.
Maybe
Irrational fears happen all the time.
Yeah,
It's fucking-
is the irrational fear Chartier's fear?
No, it's definitely not this.
Do you want me
His
to tell
irrational
you?
fear is the being on a podcast with
No,
Tanner.
you wouldn't really probably fear that either, because you collect knives, and I'm like, oh, maybe like someone breaking your house is like a fear, like someone.
Oh
like,
my God.
unknown-
Oh,
I have no idea.
Tanner,
I have no
if
idea.
I were to guess anything, it's being powerless to help like others.
For
Like,
freedom?
for
That's
you,
so
like you can't actually
That's
do
exactly
anything to
it.
do.
Look at
So
that.
That's exactly it.
I'm afraid that I will eventually in my life not be able to be the rock for the people I love.
That's exactly what I was getting at. Like it's just like the people
Sorry,
who are
Tanner.
around me, who I live
All
with.
these
I
like
have a new best
emotional,
friends.
all these
Yeah.
emotionally like driven shit.
That's
It's
actually
like
a very healthy fear.
sharks.
Dude, antique fucking dolls.
That's what I was going for. Not like these like my this thing that's gonna
This
shatter
meta-
my heart.
Just metaphysical.
Yeah, like
As a
it's so
His secret answer is
Antifa.
Yeah, like
show me
that's
where
what
the
I said.
Antifa touched you.
I very easily have no palm time. Like I have a rational fear
There's
and
antique
irrational
dolls
fear.
for
Yeah.
And like, so what's another question on that?
Yeah, that's
I'm looking for one. Who was my? Oh, I want to say the irrational fear. Ashley's ex had a irrational fear of. He just refused to use them. Metal forks,
Did he use like
Plastics.
plastics, things like that, or he.
Man, I think I'm more terrified of plastic forks.
No,
Me
he,
too,
he had
absolutely.
I'm
a
gonna just break
he
off.
had a
like,
fear or a mental image of when the fork went in his mouth, like it tipping this way
straight up.
and bite like like that metal on your teeth. He didn't like that.
Yeah, it happens. Like
Or like
Just don't bite
it,
like a
it was just in his head. I'm not saying
Wolverine,
it's
like,
irrational. It's literally
Bite softer, like
you're not gnawing meat off bone. all
don't
the
be
time.
don't ball on.
Let me pick the
you,
next
take, you pull it off the fork
I'll
before
do
you
one
shoot.
now, and then you'll pick this one. I promise. Who was my biggest crush when we were younger?
Oh.
This is easy. This is just flat out easy.
How much younger do you want to go?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
High school age?
Probably had. I've had a couple in my life.
Can we
since
pick?
you
Can we
know-
Biggest
Who's
crush?
the- who's
What
the
are we,
one?
like
How long-
13-year-old girls?
How
Number
long
one?
have you guys known each other?
Since high school.
What age?
freshman year.
Freshman year.
Yeah.
So pick a year. One we'll do the same year because we go back before that too. So
Yeah, but it wasn't just freshman year. This was like a. There's only one. I dated girls, yes, but there was just one.
I think we had the same answer. So
I'm honestly thinking of two.
See why?
Okay.
Sarah or Amanda.
yeah.
Yeah, Sarah was like my first. Yeah, it's Amanda. Amanda was like the constant.
This is like relevant to the same high school you guys went to? Or?
So Jake and I actually went to the same middle school,
Yeah.
and then we went to different high schools, but like
But
we
we
also
also
went.
went- we also
Same,
went to
same
the-
friend group. Yeah. Like yeah.
So through that, so Jake's in a funny position because like he married and is still with his high school sweetheart.
I am, yes.
So I'm trying to like
My-
outside of
my-
Madeline.
I will say my end of high school sweetheart.
Yeah, like there was other things through it for it, but biggest crush, Charlene Yenny.
Charlie Uni. But I would say the same for you, probably.
Yeah,
For if we're going at that stage of time, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
is Joan gonna watch
Shout-
this? Is
shout
there
out
is
to
there one
Sean.
other than Joan?
If she watches
Sorry,
it.
motherfucker, you were on a website called Hello Giggles.
I just googled. I googled the
Mind
questions.
blowing.
Hello, Eagles.
Antonio, I don't have an
But
answer
is there
for you,
is there
sorry.
other, is there a girl other than Joan?
Joan doesn't get jealous about anything.
I understand. Okay, so I'm going. My gut instinct saying your high school crush is Joan, but was there one? Is there? Okay, now we exclude her.
You could exclude her. I don't care.
But who's
If it's not the right answer, then it's not the right answer. But you got to tell me what the
Okay,
right
how about
answer is.
Jeez.
how about besides her? What would you say?
So-
The
We're-
only
we're
one I
like
would
2
know,
for 2.
it's not his. It's, the only other girl I know is it wasn't his crush. It was just because she was fucking easy in there.
First
Joan?
off,
No, not Joan.
That was an awful answer.
But it wasn't his crush.
yeah, but I mean,
It's the only other girl I
again,
know
it's
that
not
he's
like
friends with.
13-year-old teen Vogue. Who's your crush
I don't
on
remember her
Dream
fucking
Phone?
Yeah, Dream.
It was actually a hilarious
It
video
was
about
that-
Dream Phone.
Can you play Dream Phone
It was that
on
super
podcast?
slutty chick that lived with you.
You ever seen that game?
Yeah, from that.
Yeah.
Don't shake your head. You know what I'm talking about.
She was easy. She wasn't a crush.
That's why I said she's not a crush,
Right.
but she was easy.
You spend
and
so
there.
much time with these questions, Ted.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't remember her name. Was it Mark? It was
Wait a minute. A crush shouldn't be
You know
easy.
her fucking
No,
name.
no, no.
A
Yeah,
crush
a
should
crush
be
should be
very
unattainable.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
But some of the
crush-
girls
a
crush
crush is
is a
supposed to
pining
be
for.
that
Yeah,
unobtainable
it's a
sort of
pinnacle
thing.
Then
point
it's
Yes,
Joan.
that you want to reach.
It's not unobtainable. He's
Or
married.
it's better.
Right,
you
at the
say
time.
like, oh, I wish I
Yeah,
had
Okay,
that.
so at the
Or
time, in the same
pedestal.
token, it's like,
Yeah, pedestal.
Yeah.
Jake,
Is
I
it
got
Joan?
married.
Take it off the pedestal.
Yeah,
Take it off the pedestal.
yeah, that's a crush.
Really? I didn't know that.
I had the hots for those dreads.
Oh yeah, she had dreads in high school.
Yeah.
She's cool.
I
She's
like
cute.
some more of this wine
She doesn't have the dreads anymore.
Take it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Bad.
Did she know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on for more free wine.
Did you ever give it?
Truth be told,
We pour.
Sure.
I want to say.
I think
for-
Charlene was our crush
It's all
because
good. I'm good.
she had a voice like a fucking gravel.
She had
You liked
a
it?
gravel bar,
Yeah, she had the gravel bar voice.
and I mean she still is really incredibly beautiful woman, like for sure, no question about it.
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
I saw her mobile like 6 months
Oh,
ago.
actually,
Oh, you know what?
Here's a good one. Number
You know,
30.
it was another silly kind of little crush other than Amanda.
That's actually a good one.
No.
No, Ashley still. I had a crush on her for a while.
Can I say that nobody knows these people's name, by the way?
You know,
Yeah.
you know her. We've hung out with
The,
her.
the point of this game
All right.
is to be we got it right or we got it wrong.
He's crushed it every time. I've just fucking missed on all this.
Yeah. So, all right, Jake. Here's one for you.
Sure.
What do I order at a bar?
I mean, there's many options. Depends on the bar, probably. I would say.
Specific drink, not just
So
like
we're talking about
it
Yeah,
wasn't
you won't just,
like
you
a
won't just say
gin.
like a beer.
cocktail bar.
Yeah. Okay. What is the drink that I would order at a cocktail bar?
Oh, I would assume some sort of gin drink if you get is your first choice,
A man of culture, I see.
or a Manhattan maybe. What gin
Hand
drink?
in your best friend card.
What gin
Got it
drink?
wrong.
No, truth be told, it would be either a gimlet,
Yeah,
so a gin drink there.
Yep.
Not a Manhattan.
Old fashioned.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say. Actually,
Old fashioned.
I have a sweet tooth when it comes to old
I
fashions.
do like old fashions too.
But yeah,
Not a
if it's a
fan.
whiskey drink, old fashioned. If I'm like planning on drinking and trying to be a man of culture, either a gimlet or just a gin and tonic.
I'm never a man of culture.
So me at a cocktail bar.
Truth be told, that whiskey is
Jake at a cocktail
So
bar?
Travis, me at a cocktail bar.
So you,
inside of a joking Long Island.
I mean, it depends how drunk I am.
Yeah.
Are we at the bottomless Long Islands at fucking Russian lady in Hartford? Yes, that's what I'm drinking.
Long Island.
Yeah, it was like $20. You got bottomless fucking Long Islands.
You got like a cup. All night you could drink Long Island bottomless.
That is horrific.
It's a terrible idea.
But cocktails for you.
Gin and
Definitely
tonic.
whiskey. I would probably say
got it.
I
Well,
Is that
is it? Yeah.
If definitely not a 7 and 7, probably
No, definitely not.
whiskey ginger.
Whiskey ginger is a good one.
But
So
an
easy.
Irish
I'm
whiskey.
gonna say, am I that easy?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Whiskey neat too is good.
So just whiskey. I would like a glass of whiskey.
I like gin. I like gin and ginger too. Ginger, you hit
This
there
was
with
just actually an
ginger.
audition to see if you could be best man, and you're crushing it, so you're good. You're 3 for 3, buddy.
Yeah, it's a good thing you weren't my best man.
I wasn't. I definitely was not.
I mean, yeah.
So, and Charter, I would probably say,
He already said it. He already guessed it while you guys were talking.
oh, for you.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah,
say?
gin and tonic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that one I knew too.
Mike's, it's liquor. Has to be liquor.
It could be liquor, beer,
Cocktail.
wine,
If it's
whatever.
beer, if it's
So if
beer,
it's beer,
it's
that's
literally
the
it's a.
We're talking about you're at a cocktail bar, so you're
Add
ordering
one
beer.
drink.
If you're ordering a beer, it's very weird and probably not a great selection of it.
Okay, so my go-to beer is just whatever is literally a pot of fucking flowers because he likes that hoppy shit. He loves the hoppy beers.
So
So like double IPAs.
No, quadruple IPA.
So that
First quad.
that probably won't be at the cocktail bar we're talking about.
But yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
a
That's
mixed
like- that's
drink
his
or just
beer.
a glass of whiskey.
He likes whiskey. I don't know how he had whiskey on the rocks, maybe? Right. Yeah, whiskey on the rocks?
Bourbon, but yeah.
Okay.
Bourbon rocks, yeah. I'm a bourbon rock guy.
Yeah. Bullet.
I also like
So yes, bullet bourbon.
bullet bourbon's great. I
Bullet
also
rye is fucking good.
I also like really clean
Just had that the
scotches.
other day.
I mean,
One
I like
for
to
four.
I like to dabble in peat, but I'm not a peat person.
I can tell you right now that if you had
What's it
told me
called?
scotch, I'd be like, get out of my house.
I know
I
that.
despise.
You know, I know that already though.
Nothing should taste like burnt hair. People are like, oh, it's a.
I like
you have
scotch.
to
I like
smell
some
it.
scotch.
I'm like,
I
no,
like
it smells-
smoky
it smells like
scotches.
shit.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like smoky scotches.
I like
Like
smoky
I'm drinking a
beers.
campfire almost.
Overly.
I don't even mind that. Like I love smoked ales or fucking
not
Rausch beers,
Rausch
and-
beers.
and stuff. But when it comes to whiskey, I don't want it to be super smoky. I don't want scotch to be a
Joe.
I mean, bourbon's kind of smoky too.
Bourbon is sweet. It is a predominantly
It's both sweet and smoky. It's like that maple bacon.
It's never gonna
Yes.
happen.
Anyways,
So-
go. Let's do another one.
What's the first thing I would do?
Oh wait, hold on. Before we move on, let's give
Antonio.
Antonio.
What would Antonio order?
Travis should guess.
What I order? Just take a guess.
Well, I definitely know not gin.
Not
Yeah.
yes, I know that. Not
Oh.
Joe.
No.
Wait
he,
a minute.
He loves
Wait a
gin,
fucking
but
minute.
it's fucking.
Yeah.
It don't fly.
Actually,
Um,
no. Dude, I mean,
I would probably think
Whiskey sour.
if not JMO ginger.
it's sour.
That's what I said.
Christ.
No. I was gonna say if not JMO ginger.
Close. No, not really. No.
It's kind of up my alley though.
Yeah.
You know, actually, my main weakness is dirty martini.
Ooh.
Gin
Gin martini. So
dirty
like
martini.
gin
Dirty
martini.
martini. Yeah,
From vermouth?
vodka.
Because you were like, oh, gin. It's just like,
That's the
'Cause-
problem.
yeah. Because I know that like you love gin, but it's
What's the question? Next one coming up.
What's the first thing I would do if I won the lottery?
Go ahead.
These are things that
wait. We
They're-
already know
they're-
what his is.
we already know
I'd
mine.
buy the fucking Han Solo.
I gave you that answer.
He'd buy the fucking odds. He would just buy Harrison Ford, the person.
I don't know. He's pretty old and decrepit now.
It's wisely worth $1 million.
That's true.
First thing you would do with the fucking,
I mean, this goes for you guys too.
you would probably splurge on whatever the top tier bike is.
What bike? Like
I have to say the specific.
tricycle?
Bicycle.
Or
No, no,
bicycle?
Unicycle.
Motorcycle.
Tandem water cycle.
The first
A
thing
penny farther is
Like,
what
if
you
we're
fucking
not-
buy.
Yeah, not like I'm going to give all my family money so they're stable. Like, I don't, nothing bullshitty like that. I'm talking about. I know, but
probably-
like,
it's
I'm
probably
talking
for me, yeah.
splurge on yourself. Change that because like anything, like we all would help our family.
No, when they pull themselves from their own bootstraps, right?
We would make sure that our loved ones
That's
are.
the- that's the
we'd make sure our loved
libertarian
ones
way.
are taken
Right.
care
They
of.
have to.
We
They
would
have
make
to fend
sure
for
our
themselves.
loved ones- I'm
I
talking-
believe in no handouts.
Your
for-
personal splurge. Your personal splurge, because everyone would help.
Okay,
you.
what would be my splurge then? You think?
Your personal splurge.
Wait, so we're qualifying this
I
with
splurge,
you can't bail your family out of debt?
Can I invest
And we
it?
all would do it.
But
So
can I-
that's just that's a blanket.
What is the lotto though? What? How much?
$100 million Powerball.
Can I invest it in
Standard.
business or no?
Yeah.
Okay, the standard.
Or is it only for like
Like
leisure only?
this is a superfluous.
It has to be
It's a
leisure.
Han Solo on the wall.
Has to be
It
leisure.
serves, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
what?
I
So
can't
what?
be like, oh,
what
start my
frivolous
dream
thing would you
business.
buy for
Leisure.
yourself?
Yeah. What like vanity thing would you buy for yourself?
Sure.
And that's why I think you pick the top of the line.
But it's not vain. That's the problem.
Yeah,
On one hand, I would think that you would
That's
buy
right.
new like
that would be your splurge.
needs
Your
stuff.
gift to
That
yourself.
kind of like goes into
Towards
the
the business.
setting
You right.
your own business.
Yeah, I got it.
Jake's passions are what would be
Functional.
viewed as a functional and like business pursuit. Because
That's-
I'm like, yeah, he would buy new brewing equipment and like
Sure, we'll
go
count
for
that,
them.
and then whatever you do with it, you do with it. But
Yeah,
you
but-
would upgrade all your brewing equipment.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
But like, I
That's
would.
But the goal
Would
is
be-
to
I
then
would
go and move
commercialize
into
it,
a commercial business firm.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue.
So,
So
I
like
don't- I don't-
truly fun thing.
I don't like money.
No,
Really.
actually no. I take that back. Truly fun thing that you would do
Mm.
that like it's one and done. You would go fuck off to different castles in Ireland with Madeline.
Sure, that would work. I mean, that's not in my head, but like, it wasn't like one of the things I would have guessed for myself. But when you presented, I would agree with that.
so what's Travis's?
Like, what's my Han Solo on the wall?
$100 million, you could totally fucking.
Neil Peart's drum set.
Mm.
That's a good choice.
I can't fit that in here.
You need two of them. One
What
that
about
you
Neil
plays
Patrick
on,
Harris
one for
drum
one
set?
for collection.
Does NPH have one?
No, I don't know. You might.
You could with $100 million, you could totally like buy a fucking trip like to space.
I don't want
I
to
don't think you would do that. So I'm just thinking like the things you could do with it.
Vanity project for myself. I know what
I think for 800,000, can't you like rent Lithuania or some shit? Like, what was that kind of?
Rent a country.
Yeah.
No,
It's a small
but-
country.
Snoop Dogg did want to do it for his video, but he didn't give him too. He gave him too short of a notice. You had to fill out a form and give X amount of notice, and then you can have the whole fucking country to yourself.
So it wouldn't be Lithuania.
It's not Lithuania. It's some Liechtenstein, some small. It starts with an L.
Liechtenstein would
Now
be
here?
one.
Hey, come on up.
But yeah, no. What would be my vanity project? Or like the thing would be.
I don't fucking know.
Fix up your house.
I don't need $100 million for that. This house even worth $100.
Project.
All joke. You brought stuff?
Art?
That was nice.
Installation of some sort.
Request a pizza?
Yeah, you want some?
You would do something. Fuck, I don't know. Everything I would think you would do would be like investing in something too. It's the same problem.
I'll tell you right now, I do have a vanity project that I would like love to be able to do.
A bridge. A bridge with your face on it. I don't know. What is it?
No, but close with the tail end of that.
Yeah,
I'd build a statue of myself and I would put it in every single public park.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
105.
That is.
In like
What would your
Weird.
placard say on the?
oh no, it's me, no placard, just like models of me in like weird positions. Just like oh sweet tacos.
That is
That is
fantastic.
narcissism.
No, but that's
That's vanity.
if narcissism would be
Oh, yeah.
No,
putting
thanks.
my name
Opened
and like
all
information
the
about
I'm all
myself.
set. No, I don't want.
So you have a visual
It's
representation
just
of
Sorry.
it is
Well,
me. I know
you're
it's
getting
me.
one.
But like no one else would. They'd just be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Holy
Where did this statue come from?
This is all soft tacos.
Anyone else want?
Yeah, it's all soft.
Anyone else want Diablo sauce?
Sauce is the best.
Diablo sauce.
Yeah. So that's
sauce.
mine.
I like them hard.
So
Yeah, I
you
said
want
it.
to just do
I said it. I said
what
it.
3 things would the other person do? Keep with them on a desert island? Because I think a lot of these questions are really dumb.
They are. They are. You got to find the good ones.
Oh, here's one. What drives me crazy? Like, what's the
I'll
one
tell you
thing
what.
that drives me absolutely
Let's
go.
insane?
Tanner.
Hey.
I mean, not wrong. That's not the main thing.
we've definitely talked about this. I'm sure in our venting bitch sessions.
What is a venting session? What is
Our
that?
venting bitch sessions.
Yeah.
Did you guys just go into the angry dome and just like scream?
No, we have a stitching bitch where we do cross
Stitching
stitch
bitch.
and complain about things.
Paint each other's toenails. Yeah.
Hey man, fuck you. That sounds fun.
Thanks for talking about that.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. This might be one of our longer podcasts too.
Coming up on longer.
Let's see. Drives you crazy. A lot of things piss you off, man.
Really? I don't think so.
No one appreciates a fine cannibal reference.
I'm waiting for it to be on fucking trivia.
Maybe next week. Something drives you crazy.
Like no one else.
I think I have what drives Jake crazy.
Yeah, probably.
It's the irony is I am exactly that right now. Someone who's wildly so sure of themselves, who has no reason to be. That's what I think drives
Oh,
you crazy.
that's 100%. That's really good. Yeah. Fucking
You and I would get along very well.
unwarranted confidence. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here.
I was gonna say probably some type of incompetence, but work level incompetence. Somebody who's given a job or function and just is fucking.
So it's like a foreman coming in, someone being like, "Oh yeah, you gotta go and ship shape the tip top over there," and there's like, "What the fuck are you saying?" And he's like, "Oh, you know,
Or like in
rest of
charge
the
of your,
jibs."
in charge of like, I don't know. Someone who's. I don't think that's it though. Probably not it.
I actually,
Professional incompetence. I guess.
Questioning yourself, huh?
Yeah, professional incompetence would be mine.
I have a fun question after you then answered.
That's what
I was
you're.
gonna say, Travis.
That's what you're
I
saying.
think-
My.
I think
I don't know.
you have
Because-
no patience for like
Yeah. Like what
for
drives me
like
crazy?
inane conversation.
Wow.
Like like
No, actually, I love
That's probably
people
it.
just like talking about the weather.
do you?
Oh, it's a pet peeve. I don't know.
So I was leaning into like a previous certain person in our life who we agreed that we didn't like very much, but we changed our minds on.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the name conversation. It was more commonly because they were so confident.
Oh, wait, I know. I
in
think
all
you
their
know.
positions.
I think this might be
Sorry,
wrong,
yeah, sorry.
but it's a fair answer
Sure.
because I know you've expressed that these people fucking drive you nuts.
Liberals,
No, complete opposite.
Republicans.
Even further than that, you hate the false, fake, bullshit televangelists, crazy religious wing nuts.
That's a good one.
You have. We definitely have talked about how those
That's-
guys are like fucking driving you crazy.
It
Seed
really does.
money.
The seed money shit is fucking.
That
Oh,
they
it's
take
bonkers.
that they
It's
take money
horrible.
from people, manipulate
Oh,
like that.
You seen the John Oliver
Yeah.
last week's on that?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking horrible.
The
It drove
Church
me
of Immaculate
insane.
So that's my guess. Televangelists.
Exemption.
Exemption. The Church of Immaculate Exemption. That's a great set. Yeah.
That, okay, so I wasn't thinking about that, but that really is like the thing that drives me bonkers.
What was your original answer?
My original answer was
That's good.
some level of incompetence. People that act so sure of themselves but really have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
So a televangelist, got it.
Yeah. So, but that is like to a T.
And
Yes.
Jake, for me, it is not a
Let me see
main
what I
conversation.
had to think about it.
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Good.
What?
Want a taco?
I'm good.
Oh,
We still have
Yeah,
several
it's,
tacos.
I actually am very pro inane conversation, but what drives me absolutely crazy, like off the fucking walls, like I just can't stand it,
Hell.
is false conviction.
Yeah.
So it's when people who are like, oh, I need to like champion this idea and I need to believe all this stuff, but I'm like, okay, why?
But yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't have any good reason or like any understanding behind it. So I'm like, okay, so then why do you believe what you believe? Well, I don't really know. I'm like, okay, so you don't actually. You're just
probably
an
have the
asshole.
same answer.
It's like social media activism.
Yes. So like very commonly is, I mean, if that's
one
the one
is
area
kind
I
of like
critique
it's just
people on the left,
playing shows
it's like keyboard activism.
anywhere.
Sure.
Not
And it's
any
like,
specific
okay, you're
shows,
falsifying
playing
proof
music
of
and
what?
shows. definitely.
What do you guys
something
think about self-entitlement?
So I guess it also counts.
That ties in for sure. Yeah.
It would be
Definitely.
playing in the
I
boiler.
think I hate that too.
I hate it
Yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely.
I have a fun
That's
question.
like the one.
Alright, I have a fun question for all. What is the most useless talent that the other person has?
Here's a laundry list over here.
I knew that's why. It's like it's gonna be more one way than the other. That's why I'm laughing. Useless fucking talent. It's like, oh yeah, watch this. Like,
No, like I could say I know what mine is, and I hope
I don't know it.
you do know it.
I don't know.
I know Mike's.
Is it
I
the
100%
Manchester
know
Shuffle?
Mike's.
What's my useless
Is it a
talent?
Manchester Shuffle?
No, no, it's not that.
Mike's is easy.
It's not a here hold this. But no, my actual one.
Give me that.
My actual one is that I am very good at naming magic cards off of the flavor text.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a useless talent. So my useless talent
I know.
is.
Oh wait, I can't guess it.
Oh, go ahead and guess.
Our friend Mike is a bass player.
Okay, so
Murdered.
thank you for that. But
Slid.
I was going to
Slid.
say that my useless talent, because I listen to music in order as it's listed on the songs are listed on the album, I can tell you I can hum the first few bars
So
of
the
the
next
next song.
I have the same talent.
Because I never listen to it on shuffle, and it
Yeah.
drives me
Say, I can't wait
bonkers.
for someone to just be like, shuffle.
I'm
Spotify
Oh.
had this bug with the
makes
last
me want
update
to kill
that
myself.
turned
If it's,
everything on
if it's an
shuffle.
album that I like that much, it's horrifying to me to hear a song out of order. Like my mind literally stops working for a second.
I know. I get road rage after that. I start seeing
It's like,
red,
that's not the
people
next
die,
note.
and
The next note is these three notes, and
So,
It is a note, so the
useless
notes in my
talent
head.
that Jake has. And it
You
more.
can sort of amount Taco Bell.
No, that's not a useless talent.
It's very useful.
The useless talent that you have is, like 3 other movies that the director of any movie you're watching, but you cannot remember what's going on in the actual movie that you're watching. It's like you'll be able to be like, oh, this is a Scorsese film, but here's a shit ton of information about other Scorsese films,
Okay.
but not the one we're watching now.
dude, why aren't we best friends?
Scorsese is the example, but for film on
No,
cinema
I
on
know.
maps.
I watch
And I think,
movies
it's
that way.
I think it's because you were a very large cinephile, and you're just like,
Collecting them in my head.
you're just you're
How about
aggregating
Kubrick?
every single place.
I love Kubrick. I can
Love
tell you.
Kubrick.
I can tell you the entire
I'm sure you can, Jake.
entire filmography from front to back. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
love Kubrick.
Have you seen Paths of Glory?
No, that is a Kubrick film. Oh wow.
Have you seen Cloud Orange? Just found that one.
And then Lolita was good.
Lolita's
But
good.
he got
Barry
heavily-
Lyndon.
Lolita's real weird.
He got heavily
No, I'm talking about Kubrick.
Censored on that.
These are all Kubrick films. Shining.
Yeah, that's good.
He made 10 full films, and then there's one film he didn't finish that Spielberg finished.
I'd like to hit one of the last ones.
Madeline, what do you think my useless talent is?
I don't know.
Good
Asking
answer.
stupid questions.
This is very good. Love the answer.
Yeah.
So what's your useless talent, Antonio?
I use this talent.
Yeah.
I can identify most cars on the road.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm so illiterate with
By
cars.
headlights and
ear.
everything?
No, by your headlights, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
They're really good at picking out the headlights on the cop cars, but ever since they changed them away from the
No,
Crown
no.
Vic,
Yeah.
it's screwed. Yeah, right.
Fucking Ford Focus
What-
is out
what-
there.
what-
God damn it.
What
Paul
one
Blart pulling me
person-
over for a speeding ticket.
What
How'd you like
Travis
someone
had
that's
one, so
a
I don't want to snipe his, but this one's a good one.
So this one is, you have a 1-minute advertisement slot that you cannot get rid of, and it is during the Super Bowl. What does the other person fill it with?
What would he advertise?
Yep, but he can't sell anything, and he can't sell. You have 1 minute speaking time during the Super Bowl, during one of the commercials.
Oh, so it's not him. So what would he talk about?
Yep. What would Chartier fill in the minute? Like, what would you?
What would my advertisement
It's
be?
not
Is it an
not-
advertisement?
No, you can't sell anything, and you can't sell the ad. So you can't be like, oh, give it away. It's Jake has 1 minute
To address
during the
like,
Super Bowl to
one of the
address the largest, most viewed.
television.
He's
event.
not. I know his answer. He has. That was gonna come out mean. That's not how I mean
You
it.
about to say he has nothing
Oh,
to
just
say?
say it.
In a sense, no, that's what it is, but it's not that. It's not. I mean, he would sit there at a table, probably with his bourbon on the rocks, and just sit there and look at the camera and not say shit. And because he doesn't have to say anything to anyone. Like fuck him. I think that's what it'd be. I think it would be. I have.
Sure,
What
it's
do I
like,
like? That's what it would be. Dead silence.
Speaking of which, you
Dead
got some more of that
silence.
bourbon?
And him just drink bourbon.
Stare at the camera, say nothing.
Maybe at the end of, at last second mark, he'd lift it up and do a little cheers, and then that's it. I don't think he would say. I don't think he would say anything. Or I think he would use his time to. That's how.
I would say very little. I would say fuck social media and the big corporations. Fuck the government because none of them know what's best for us. And then the last 45 seconds would be silence.
Can I say that was the most beautiful pour ever? Why are you saying that? That was great. Everything about that was great.
So we have that in commercial now. It's gonna be the ad for Left Right
that's
Cab.
bad,
yeah.
So that's
Fuck
exactly
this.
what
Fuck
happened.
wine.
That's great.
I'm gonna go drink this whiskey.
Yeah.
Left Right
bad.
Whiskey.
Watch Taco Bell sponsor you.
It's not Left Right anything. It's just fuck it whiskey.
Politics now, whiskey.
Yeah. For Travis, I think he would want to take this time, not to advertise anything, not to sell anything, right? So it'd be like you would just come out and. Well, I know that you love to hear yourselves talk, so it'd be something. It would be something about. It would be the entire
I love you so
time
much, Jake.
time slot would be filled for sure. And what would be filled with isn't so much important as the fact that you get the chance to talk. I would say it would be about your shoes.
Or Cabernet.
Or no, it wouldn't be Cabernet, no way. It'd be something a little less. It'd be more innocuous, I think. Less highfalutin.
What's those the design socks you mentioned before the other day, last few weeks ago?
No, accent socks?
Accent socks. There you
Well, first off, yes, everyone needs to own accent socks.
Absolutely.
Sadly enough, these ones are just black, so like, no, I'm not wearing them.
go. Not even living up to your.
Because if we're talking about like passions, like Travis's passion is certainly his own intellect, you know. So it'd be something that doesn't.
Why, yes, I am arrogant.
I'm not even talking about arrogance. I'm just talking about like the ability to partake and grow. And I feel like you'd struggle to do it by yourself. You'd want to have a talk. You'd want it to be a conversation, I would think. I don't think the topic really matters. It just would need to be a conversation.
Close, but like, I would probably
Be your Frost v. Nixon.
listen to myself on recorded tapes.
Just start reading War and Peace.
No, start playing a recording of
Okay.
yourself.
Truth be told, that's probably more in line with what I would do.
I knew the confident answer. I was so bad that I didn't fucking raise my hand quick enough.
So I didn't.
That was the one answer I wanted to get out.
I would probably, if I had just 1 minute dedicated time to just talk to the American people, I would tell them mostly what I think is wrong with them and how there's no real sense to fix it.
Brutal
So-
honesty.
so while, like,
Brutal,
Brutal honesty, but also almost like a quasi-dadaist, absurdist approach where like I'm not trying to tell you how to fix it. I'm not going to tell you like these are all the things wrong with society.
So you're gonna be the newsroom then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, one of my all-time favorite clips
Is that
is the opening debate scene that Jeff Daniels puts in the beginning of the newsroom.
Yeah. I could see that
Just like America's not the best one, where like the only thing we're number one in the country is
in the world.
and yeah, the only thing that the U.S. is number one is people believing that angels are real,
Military.
military spending, and mothers dying in childbirth.
Yeah.
there's the
Like-
second part of his speech that I really like, where he calls out his own party. I think he goes, and if we liberals are so fucking smart, how do we lose all the time?
So he's actually his character in it's a Republican.
Yeah.
But he's like, you liberals, you guys are the ACA is like this champion of goodwill, but he gets to hit you with it every fucking time.
Liberals, I could have
No,
sworn.
it says, and you liberals, if you're so goddamn smart, why the fuck do you lose all the time? And then he's like, you Republican guy, you're telling me you're so star-spangled awesome that, you know, America's great because of freedom? There's like 108 sovereign nations, 105 of them have freedom. Like, none of this
It's
fucking matters.
a good clip. Definitely a strong clip.
And you, college sorority girl, I don't know when you say what makes America the greatest, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite?
So for Tanner, I would say
I
that
didn't even think of what my answer would be, but let's see what.
I would say that you'd walk on. It would be just like a white backdrop. You'd walk on with a soapbox and put it down. And you walk off out of camera. And you walk out with the second soapbox and put it on the first one. And you get on on two soapboxes and try to convert everybody to libertarianism.
I mean, I would definitely. That's what I would think. Because like, I feel like
I would push. Not so much. I guess it is libertarians, but like
What's going on?
I would probably say something along the lines of
Important to this though.
free markets and individual
Just give me a
responsibility
raise.
is the way to go. I would say something along those lines. Yeah.
see, I don't have political. See, that's the difference between us. I think that is exemplified in the podcast sometimes. I don't have political convictions nearly as strong as you.
Yeah.
Like I have overarching beliefs, but like I don't have a system that I'm promoting necessarily. Like that's whenever I go back to like nihilism as like a overarching belief, is that like in reality, Travis and I cannot fall in the same ballot for that, where it's like I vote in spite of my lack of conviction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
I know what I know.
I'm not as strongly convicted as some people might be, but
Thank you.
I subscribe to things that make sense.
Sure. I mean, I subscribe to them. I just don't have conviction for them. There's
Right.
a difference. Like I vote. I talk. We have a fucking podcast where we talk about politics, and I talk about it all the time. Doesn't mean I have the conviction for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm not gonna go wave a flag for libertarianism, but I do feel like people should pick themselves up by the bootstraps and get to work.
I wouldn't spend my
Yeah,
minute
because it
on
doesn't matter,
air
like,
talking
people
about
doing that for work. though.
liberalism.
It's
Right. It's not you. It doesn't.
there is no sense of.
I would talk about Taco
self-determinism.
Bell maybe.
Hey, I gotta go. This is a good one. What is the craziest thing your
And why
best
Taco?
friend
Why, I would talk about why Panera Bread is not a fucking fast food joint.
Yes.
That's
First and
that's-
foremost, it's not.
It's not a fucking fast
Have you
food
ever
joint.
gone there and actually spent less than
to
5
work in the
minutes? No, I
Right here,
do.
bro. Thank you.
What's the craziest thing your best friend has ever done?
Yeah.
I have the
Shades
answer.
ever done?
I have that answer.
Craziest.
He tried getting a hostel owned by some shady Russians that smelled like.
I did
fish.
try. I did.
Yeah,
Is that the craziest thing you've ever done?
No,
Definitely up
but it's
there.
up.
I know Mike's.
Craziest thing I've ever done?
How about this?
Cabin
How
in the
about
Woods,
this?
maybe?
I'll even make him get.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
I know Mike
I mean,
so
it's crazy in a
confidently
way.
that I can't even say it on air. There
Uh,
could be legal ramifications if I said what it was.
If it-
We'll be back next week. More topics, more wine, more fun. I'm.
This is the
Ta-
biggest house we've had so far.
Yes.
Both we had 6 people in the audience on screen. But Antonio joined us tonight.
Thanks, Antonio. Thank you, Mike, for
Madeline
hanging out
giving
with
us the
us.
lead
You guys are
in the
welcome.
audience.
do anything.
You're welcome to all
You
of
brought
our
She brought
guests.
Taco Bell.
She did bring Taco Bell. You did very good
She
things.
stayed here.
So with that, I'm Travis Pajoli.
I'm Tanner Hall.
I'm Jake Redder.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
And good fucking night.